What is going on? Mario Munguia here in Fighting Exchange, in Fighting FX. That's the channel. That is where we are live on YouTube, Twitch, X, and IG now. What is going on, everybody? We are here and we have a full combat sports docket on the day. I'm going to be joined by Shoe Shine. I think Vince is coming on. Let me see. A bunch of people are coming on. Everybody's coming on. We're all going to have fun here. But it is WrestleMania week. We're going to talk about WrestleMania. We're going to talk about everything. Bumgardner fighting as well. Should be on ESPN this week. ESPN back on boxing. We're going to talk about that. Cody shoots on McAfee, says that his bitch ass should not have been inserted into the Mania main event. Trashed his studio. Okay, cool. We'll whatever. We'll talk about it. Let me see. Hold on. All right. So we're like officially supposed to start it at like 3, and then I had some backup issues, but we're gonna get started. I promise. Let me just set everything up. That is not this. All right. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that's why I fucking need some fucking. Here it is. Woo! Fuck. All right. That was. Someone liked my comment. You know who's so whack? Rob Schneider. Have y'all seen any? I know this is. We're gonna get started. I promise. We'll get started here in just a little bit. But I was just on X earlier, and if you don't know, Rob Schneider's like full on like right wing, like crazy dude. I think he's also gay. Isn't he gay? I think he's gay now. Maybe he's not. I don't know. Maybe he's not gay. But either way, I saw this, and this lady was like, "Oh, we need more of Rob Schneider comedy." No, we don't. You're gay. Okay, so just a few things before we tap in with everybody else. For those that don't know this guy, I'm going to tell you sadly about him. This man right here, his name is Dean the Great. He is a kick streamer. And basically, if you like wonder what's the difference between a kick streamer and a Twitch streamer, a kick streamer is like someone who, okay, wait, let's do it this way. A Twitch streamer is someone who sells their soul for their community. A kick streamer is someone who's sold their soul to not Nazis, that's not right. Transphobic people, but that doesn't really do it well. People that hate women. It's like calling all thumbs fingers and all fingers not thumbs. I don't know. There's not like a word for it, but anyway, it's like you could tell the difference. If somebody's on Kick, it's because they're banned from several fucking places. They're probably have at some point hated on Jewish people, red pilled, I don't know, there's like a lot of things that kind of identify them, but either way, they're just mostly people who like try to what's the word, like get under your skin, like in public. There's like a lot of these like really um it's like kids watch this shit, right? Like kids watch this stuff. But if you didn't hear about this guy, he was in the news like a month and a half ago, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. He was streaming with Rampage Jackson. Some of you may remember him from UFC glory days. Today he seems to hang around with like a lot of like younger people. Also, his kid almost killed someone, and he like totally deflected any sort of responsibility for that. But anyway, so they were like streaming together, and he was taking Dean to like these parties and like these things so they could stream together and get content. And in the span of like hours, like literally, they were at one spot, he got slapped up. And then they went to another spot like hours later after that had just happened, and everybody's talking about it. And he literally gets slapped again, but even harder by an even bigger guy. Well, not a bigger guy because Larry Wills is fucking huge. But I'll be honest, if I had to get slapped. Okay, let me just show it because y'all are just being like, oh, what the fuck are you even talking about, dude? Okay, so this is it right here. We'll talk about this until Shoe gets here, until Shoe Shiner, whoever else gets here. I think Vince is coming through. Dave, I think, said, and Machine Gun Matt. No. Oh man, I forgot to actually text him. Okay. Dean the Great knocked out. It wasn't like knocked out. He got slapped, but okay. Okay. Let me show y'all the Larry knocked out. Larry Wheels. Okay, so this is it's Shoe Shine in the building. What's going on, champ?
Yo, what's good, Mario?
Sorry, man. I was running late. I had a few things going on here in the background, but no big deal. I appreciate you and everyone else.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, good. You're connected, or is it's open, right? I just want to make sure because I'm on the new computer.
Yeah, let me make sure it's working here as well.
Yeah, I was just talking before, like, so whenever I start the show, I'll like go live, and then obviously like I'll let it like 30 minutes or so go, right? So I can have the live build up a little bit, give people time to get here. And so like in between that time, I'll just talk about random shit like loosely connected to boxing, wrestling, or MMA. So we're talking about Dean the Great. You know Dean the Great?
Oh yeah. I think Vince is gonna come on and join us. Shout out to
Great.
702 Man Cave.
Hell
he
yeah.
knows all too well because Amato faced him. And there's some huge news regarding Amato Vargas and Fernando Vargas Jr. that broke today. And I haven't even talked to Vince about it. I'm very curious. Huge news. We'll wait till he gets here. But I'm very familiar with Dean the Great. Guy's been choked out by choked out, punched, sucker punched. I mean,
yeah, I was just about to show everyone real quick this one, but I'm gonna show everybody this one instead real quick because this is the first one. So I was telling everybody he got slapped.
Did you get Larry? Did you get the address? I got the address. Yeah. Hey, don't be mad. Come on. Listen, I know we're streaming.
He was disrespecting Larry Wills' wife, who's in the back. This is way too long of a clip, by the way. And I also wish I could have muted this. There it is. Boom, right there. So there it is. See it, Larry Wills. Now, if you don't know who Larry Wills is, and you're in my community, giving Shoe Shine some time to connect there, this is Larry Wills. I've been following Larry Wills since 2016. I want to say I started trying to bodybuild in 2014. Gave up in like 3 months, probably less.
When I've been trying to bodybuild since I was 14.
No, since 2014. Yeah, no. In 2014, I was like, let me bodybuild. I'm gonna try to bodybuild because I've always been super thin, and you know, I did boxing, I did MMA, I did jujitsu before that, and I was always a good lifter. So I was like, let me try bodybuilding. So I go out there and I try to bodybuild, and I have a bunch of friends now because I've been going to the gym for like a year and a half straight, like literally 4 or 5 days a week. So I got a bunch of friends that lift and have steroids and know all the fucking feats and shit. So I'm like, let me try. Yeah, because I wasn't going to do competition, right? I didn't want to compete and take steroids. I just wanted to, be healthy. It turns out it's not super healthy at all. In fact, it's super unhealthy. Like mentally, it's very unhealthy. And physically, it can get very unhealthy because like trying to build as much muscle while trying to like snatch your fucking fat up is not like it's at some point it's a losing combination. At some point, you're going to get pulled in a direction that isn't safe for your body. You know what I mean? But anyway, this is Larry Wills. Anyway, I quit in 2014, started powerlifting in 2015. And this was like one of the first guys I followed. Larry Wills is just a fucking monster. And see, dude, Shoeshine, that's why I started, because I literally went into powerlifting because bodybuilding was way too hard. The diet was like fucking ridiculous. So I was like, you know what, dude, I'm going to do powerlifting because I saw these two guys, right? They were like 5'3", 5'2". And it's very rare for me to be taller than the guys in the gym, right? Because I'm 5'6", 5'6.5". And so I'm at the gym. It's like midnight, right? And I'm just finishing my workout, super tired. And these fucking two guys come in. They probably weigh like 125, 130, right? Meanwhile, I'm like 180 at this point. And they're like 5'2", 5'3". And these guys are deadlifting between 315 and 400 for reps. And I'm like looking at these guys. They're like miniature versions of me, but just like fucking stout. Turns out they were cheerleaders in high school and fucking jacked as shit. But one of them had the Texas record for deadlift. The other one had the overall record for his weight class in the United States. He could have easily been a professional powerlifter, easily. So they start teaching me, I start learning, and then I start building. And now my squat's 405, my deadlift's 455, my bench is like 365 for a double, maybe sometimes a triple.
Nice.
And I'm doing all of this, and now everybody's looking at me like, oh shit, like look at this guy, he's fucking crazy, he's fucking big. And like I fell in love with that. You know what I mean? Because I've always been the small guy. I've always been the short guy. And so it's like it was nice to like get bigger and then have people look at me like, oh wow, that should be like the desire for strength and size. It sucked, dude. Powerlifting sucks. It's the worst. I'd never ever recommend it to anybody. My fucking back hurts, my elbows hurt, my knees hurt, everything fucking hurts today. But yeah, anyway, this is Larry Wills.
Dude, you sound like me.
Slapped it.
You sound like me, man.
Oh yeah, did you lift at all during your prime days?
Oh my god, bro! When I started playing football, I weighed 135 as a freshman.
Same.
And I had it in my head.
25 actually.
I'm about 5'11", and I had it in my head I was gonna graduate high school at 200 pounds. I didn't weigh 200 pounds until my probably late 20s. You know, yeah. I think Vince is trying to get in. I don't know. Maybe he was confused, but there's a lot. He said, "Let me in."
It should be open, champ. Let me just send it to you personally.
Indeed, yeah. And I try to just tweet it out right now. Yeah.
I had 702. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Okay. If you can't get on from the link, then I'm gonna send it in the chat. Okay. But anyway, so real quick, Dean the Great and Adrian Broner almost got into a fight at this casino.
No.
Yeah. Let me fast forward a little bit. So,
by the way, you know what casino this is? Is this Vegas?
No. So okay. Yes, it is Vegas. But it is a casino I've never heard of, because at some point in this 2-minute clip, you're gonna learn Dean the Great is now banned from 7 casinos in Vegas. I didn't know that, but apparently, oh, it is in Vegas.
No. We good.
These little niggas, man.
Recognize it.
I gotta watch these little niggas.
We good. Good on.
Crazy, bro. I gotta piss, bro.
Get the fucking hands off me, nigga. What the fuck wrong with you, boy? What the fuck wrong with you, nigga? Don't put your motherfucking hands on me, nigga.
No.
We good.
No.
Put his hands on me, don't get
No.
Bro, he's wearing the boy shirt.
No.
Is that the boy?
No.
Yo, Adrian Broner watches The Boys, bro. That would not. Yo, you know me to tell y'all something real quick. Look, bro, I don't want to say this, Shoeshine, because they're gonna look at me and they're gonna be like, "Oh man, is this guy racist?" I'm not a racist. I grew up with black people all my life, and I can tell you that when a black person isn't negatively influenced by the streets, they get into anime. And I'm telling you right now, if somebody would sit Adrian Broner down and just like show him anime, he would just fucking give up all the nonsense bullshit. I know that sounds stupid. I know it sounds stupid, but
I worked with this one cat who was deep into anime. He was a nice guy, man. He could cook too. He was such a good. I worked with this one guy, and he had to. He said he had to marry a girl that was into anime, but he had a really hard time meeting another black woman. That was into it like he was. Yeah. So he was telling me, he's like, I got a date across the spectrum here, but that's AB.
Yeah,
that's AB.
That is AB. He has gotten very big.
No.
We good.
No.
Put his hands on me. Don't get
No.
Up again.
No.
See, look at him.
No,
nigga, that was hella
Oh,
hot.
that's not a fucking boy shirt. What the fuck?
That's
That's
really
no.
Just get
crazy.
beat the fuck up, nigga.
Duh.
On me.
We ain't doing that though.
I'm doing that.
No, bro.
It's like 7 properties you're gonna get kicked banned from.
Come on, bro.
You're gonna say it again. She's like, that's gonna be the 8th Vegas.
Come on,
property.
bro.
She's gonna say it.
Come on, cuz.
What the hell is that? PBD?
Them niggas ain't on. Let's get about this bitch before I start some shit, cuz.
But what you don't understand is though, you with me, bro. So I'm
good.
Listen though. Listen, just listen.
You too loud, cuz.
Listen,
You blown the spot.
Listen to me. I'm with you, bro.
We good then.
So whatever you do, I'm on, bro.
Okay, then we good.
They ain't gonna blame you, bro. It's gonna be on me, bro. Cause I'm gonna go all the way with the shit, bro. Come on, gang.
No, this is
These
like,
are civilians, gang.
bro. This is like, oh my god, this is like getting Genghis Khan.
So
like
is Adrian
Hitler and
Broner trying to
just
put game
putting
on
them
him?
together.
What's he doing?
He's trying to tell him. He's trying to tell him, bro. You don't want to do this. First of all, but second of all, you're not doing this. You're making me do this. I'm the fighter. I'm the one who the headlines are going to be about. I'm the one, and this is to me very, very mature of Adrian Broner. This is very, very mature, and I love seeing this, especially several days after him posting that shit on IG, talking about, I'm done with the street shit. I'm done with the street shit. It didn't do nothing for me. Repping a block has never been anything but costing me money. And now he's talking about this stay on some peace stuff because you're my friend and I'm built in no other way than to see when my friend is getting crazy, I got to get crazy with them. That's where I'm from. So if you're thinking I'm going to do this to that guy, you're not. You're doing it to me, Adrian Broner, the guy that they're going to say was cracked out, drunk, from the hood, just, another wild and black guy. All the bullshit that they say about this guy, right? It's not Adrian doing it. It's Dean the Great. But in the past, Adrian Broner would go along with all this shit. Bowling alleys, movie theaters, casinos, it don't matter.
Strip clubs.
My man was really ready to go with that. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know. All I know is that they got lucky right here. That nothing else went crazy.
What's good, Vince?
Vince in the you're muted.
Oh shit.
I got you. You're good.
Oh, what's up, fellas?
What's good, man?
We chilling. Shout out to Bruce Gass in the building.
Salute, Bruce. I can't figure out what casino this is, Vince. Can you recognize it?
It's got to be downtown because ain't nobody want Adrian Broner in their good hotel.
I'm looking at the ceiling and the carpet. The carpet, man. It's a nice hotel.
It looks like MGM.
It is a very nice hotel.
I don't know.
They
that
said
could
it was
be MGM Grand.
But maybe somebody's talking shit and don't know. What does that say on the wall? Oh, that's like a beer sign.
What does that say? Soul?
I can't see it. Soul Mole? Soul You? This ain't, I don't know, bro. But so the guy he threw the phone at, he comes back in the other clip and his boys.
What's wrong with you, boy?
Oh shit, bro.
Oh, there it is.
Yo, Vince, tell me somebody that you know.
Fuck your hands off me, nigga. What's wrong with you, boy?
Like that thrown at them. Like the patience of this man to get decked with the phone and not react, that's crazy.
I know. It's got to be an act because I heard when.
You think so?
Because I heard supposedly when he supposedly got like a little fight at Adam 22 with Crip Mac. I heard that was all act. Crip Mac from 55th Street.
Yeah, I heard that too.
That was staged for sure.
Because to Excuse my language. If that motherfucker threw that phone at me, I'm fucking him up.
Bro,
I'm gonna slam his ass against that wall right there.
And here's the thing: I'm not a Billy
And
badass,
break his
not
phone.
at all. Never been. I'll get my ass beat. I have had my ass beat before, but it's like I know myself well enough now. That's why I don't go out, because I just don't. I don't know if there's gonna be a Dean the Great out here looking to clip farm people, right? And it's like I don't want that energy at all. Like I don't want it on my screen. I don't want it in real life. I just don't want it, period. And it's like that's all their energy is just like, let me troublemaker. You know what I'm saying? Dean the Great needs to get banned from the world, bro. That guy's gonna get everybody in trouble.
Dude, me and Vince know all about clip farming in Las Vegas, man. What the things people do in the city. And even if they're not clip farming, there's shit happening around us all the time at casinos,
Yes.
or whether it's Fremont Street. If you got your phone ready, you're bound to catch some content.
Yes.
I'll say this regarding Dean the Great, Vince. I don't think he was faking it when he was talking shit in the press conferences leading up to the Amato fight they had on.
No, he never apologized for that either. He should apologize to be a real man. But he ain't a man. He's a fucking little boy.
Especially because we know he's lying. We know, not lying. He's just clip farming, right? We know that this is all an act.
The volume went off.
Can you hear me? Check. We know this is all an act, bro. We know that. There's nothing about this. Vince, we can hear you. We hear you good.
Yeah, we hear you good. Let us know when you can hear us.
It keeps cutting off.
Can you hear us now? No. I'm gonna text him to go back in and go back out.
Okay.
But yeah, man. Oh, we can hear you.
No.
Oh, I thought he said we could hear.
You may have to disconnect the earbuds, or I don't know if those are Bluetooth.
Let me oh no, I can't hear him at all. Oh.
Mike is muted. Mike, now more.
No, you're good. You're good. Hey, go back in and or he can't hear me. My bad. I'm gonna kick him and then I'm gonna tell him to come right back out.
All right.
So anyway, yeah, dude. That's crazy, bro. And I'd love to real quick before we get into shit. Doesn't that suck though? Like, don't you like you can't take family places like I don't know. That sounds terrible. It sounds like you're held hostage. Like, and that's how I've wondered. Like in Florida, where it's like the worst, right? Because they're like in the Silicon Valley version of
the influencers.
Hell yeah, the influencer
South Florida.
highway. Hell yeah, that's nothing but fucking clips and shit and clip farming, right? But like, man, what is it like? Like, I mean, going out there and it's like. Are you scared to take family out? Like, are you scared to like show people the strip now?
Personally, I would say, man, just stay. If you're gonna be downtown, you got to be on your P's and Q's, and you got to be ready for something to go down. I think Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas, has kind of turned into like a little bit of a Mardi Gras type vibe, where anything after 11 p.m. could pop off, and if you're too drunk and inebriated, you might get caught slipping, and you might be the one getting knocked out on somebody's YouTube or TikTok video. And that's just straight facts, man. You just got to be on your P's and Q's. Don't allow yourself to get too drunk, because you might get caught slipping. Like, man, Dean the Great, this might have been an MGM casino property, because if you get banned from one, I think MGM Grand will just 86 you from all of their casinos. And they've got at least five. They got probably 5 or 6 casinos.
Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Lo, what's going on, champ? You there?
Yeah, what's going on, Mario?
Oh man, we're just kicking it. It's a busy combat sports fight weekend, champ.
Yeah, see, man. I'm chilling, man. Just jumped on whatever. I was gonna talk wrestling, but we talking boxing. That's up my alley as well. I see you just playing the video with Adrian Broner and Dean the Great, and the gentleman was talking about that we live in the era where everybody's trying to what you call it, clip farming. That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen those guys that they act like they're doing an interview, and when somebody's back is turned, they throw water balloons at them. You ever seen that?
Yep, I have.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, you got people out there doing anything and everything to get attention. And I'm not wishing bad on nobody, but mark my words, we're gonna see somebody gonna get killed on live or something. It's gonna happen one day. Somebody's gonna get badly hurt. There's gonna be consequences.
Well,
for
it's Shoeshine here, man. I actually know two lovely people that were unalived last year on the Las Vegas Boulevard. They were actually close friends of ours. They were unalived, and it did happen on YouTube. You can go out and research it. Las Vegas shooting it, and it had to do over social media beef.
Oh, I know. I think I know which one you're talking about now. I forgot all about that. How scary. I remember that now. That was such a scary clip, dude.
Yeah, and it's not over because we all have to relive the trial, but you know, it's much. I can't even put myself in the shoes of the actual families,
dude.
but yeah, you don't want to see this from athletes though. Like I don't want to see it from athletes.
Exactly, right? And it's like this further push that keeps happening. It feels like, right? Because like, look, I was a stupid kid at one point, right? I've said some ugly things in my life. I've said some things that I regret, and that honestly, if somebody were to have a recording of it, I would be like humiliated. I would feel like I wouldn't even do this no more. Like I would never risk anybody being like, oh man, that who he was at 16 is who he is at 36. Nah, that's fucked up. But at the end of the day, all I know is that there is a bevy of stuff that has happened between the Aiden Rosses of the world, the Neons of the world, you know, all these guys, and they're millionaires upon millionaires. You know, look at the Nelk Boys. The Nelk Boys made an entire career out of fucking with people that made minimum wage while they went and sold millions and millions in merch. And so all I'm saying is that the athletes who have made X amount of dollars going this route that we've all like respected and appreciated and watched and consumed is now like trickulating down to like the lowest IQ form of entertainment because it makes the most money. You know what I mean? Like if you're a basketball player right now, right? And let's say like you're making the league average, right? You are getting up at 5 a.m. for workouts. You are going back at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock for workouts, right? You have off season, you have preseason, you have postseason workouts. You put your body through a 24/7, 365 torture to be the most premier version of yourself that you can. So if I told that guy, hey, you know how fucking hard you work for that couple mil? Hey, bro, I'm a 10 times your bag. I'm a 10 times your bag, and you ain't got to do none of that shit. None of it. In fact, you just got to sit there on your chair and just say random shit. Bro, come on. You know that they would pick that all day. So would I, right? So would any of us. We would rather do the easier shit for more money than the harder work for less. But it's like, it seems like it's just like to the extent of taking down our whole civilization.
You know, Mario, you bringing up, okay, I can think of some real clown stuff that happened with athletes. One of the ones that bothered me the most was Rampage Jackson's son. When he would that speaking because you're gonna do WrestleMania talk, but that guy,
yeah, absolutely,
that guy that he injured was not in on it, right?
No, not at all.
But then when you can go down to real top elite level boxers, and Teofimo's in the news today. I think I haven't heard the whole clip. I heard he said some more disgusting stuff. But I think it cost Teofimo some money because there was an incident that happened to him right before the Kambosos fight, the fight he lost.
I'm sorry about that.
I remember that. Go ahead.
I want to chime in on that because I was actually watching the Teofimo interview yesterday, and believe it or not, I'm probably one of only 7 Teofimo supporters in the YouTube community. Everybody hates Teo. Teo's my favorite fighter, but I don't agree with a lot of shit he says. What he said, man, let me tell you, people pick and choose what they want to bring up what he said. Yes, people were talking about that he was talking about this generation, how everybody's so obsessed with having an O. Everybody's obsessed with protecting their O. And what he said was something along the lines was, the dude said it's a Floyd thing. He said, no, it's a black thing, right? But in the same interview, he also praised the black fighters. When they were asking him about legends that he looked up to, he was mentioning all these greats: Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, Joe Louis, Joe Frazier, Aaron Price. So the guy said, what about guys like Duran? You know, he's Latino, he's a Latin legend. He said, nah, I got a lot of respect for Duran. But it was different with the Latin fighters. They took more losses, and it was okay to have losses and bounce back. But Tio basically said that his style was molded from black fighters, and it shows in how he fights. And basically, black legendary fighters is more of his preference. So people won't clip that. Now I'm not defending him because he has said other things in the past that you can't defend him with. You know what I'm saying? But he also said a lot of things in this interview that's kind of weird. Like he indirectly alluded to possibly throwing the fight with Shakur Stevenson, which I didn't like. He failed to give Shakur Stevenson true credit. He was saying, "Oh, he's not that great. He don't believe in himself because he was only using the jab. He didn't want to open up. You know, if he was only using the jab, why couldn't you get past it? You know what I'm saying? Like the thing with Tio is, I wish he would conduct himself in a more mature manner, more like the old Tio before he became a champion. He was still cocky, but he wasn't talking in riddles. You know what I'm saying?
You're absolutely right, Lo. Listen, we're gonna switch it up to some wrestling stuff here, but we are definitely gonna come back to the boxing. So I'm gonna put you yeah, hell yeah. All right, you could jump back on too whenever.
I want to ask you one question before I get off, man.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Do you think WWE is on the verge of getting WCW, in other words, out of business? Because like I don't understand how they have so much fucking talent. I don't mean to curse in your life. I don't understand how they have so much freaking talent and their shows are garbage. Like the writing, everything is terrible. They have one of the best rosters they've ever had before, bro. It's like the shows are unwatchable. It's not interesting. The storylines is trash. This is the least anticipated WrestleMania, bro.
Yep.
It's like, what's going on with them? Is it because they don't have competition? Like, do you think they're gonna go out of business?
Hey,
like,
man,
I didn't even buy the game, but I didn't even buy the game this year for the first time. I didn't even buy the freaking game.
No shit. Wow. Yeah. And it's crazy because that Attitude Era one looks so sick too. I wanted it so bad. Or I think I'm still gonna get it. But yeah, listen, we're gonna go into that. I want to go into actually a topic that goes right to the heart of that, what Lowe's talking about. And I'm glad to have both you on because you will understand. You will understand the significance.
Try taking the headphones off, Vince. Maybe that might, if you disconnect it.
He said he can't hear it. Let me text him.
I'm thinking he might have the headphones might be conking out.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. No, it's not that either. Let me put on a mute for a second then. So real quick, Alex says, yo, it's Wednesday. You know what that means? AEW is going to grab some clout from WrestleMania week tonight. They're going to give the belt to Vanilla Midget tonight, dude. That's fucked up. Shout out to Alex in the chat. And that's what I want to talk about real quick. Shoeshine, you are somebody who watches sports and understands them to a fairly high level. I want to ask you a question. Wait, where the fuck is it? No, not there. Okay, well then never mind. Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you then while I pull it up. The news came out today that AEW's partnered with the NFL and they're making lucha masks that are licensed by the NFL being sold on AEW. Now, we've seen WWE with these kinds of, licensing things with belts and stuff. AEW as the only real competition, even though I don't know if it's real competition, all of that. What do you make of AEW being able to get those kinds of licensing?
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Go ahead. Talk about it. What do you think?
That's a big deal, man. Even you right down to my own team, man, my beloved San Francisco 49ers. We got George Kittle, who has publicly said that his dream, as soon as he's done with his NFL career, is to be a professional wrestler.
No shit.
Yeah, he's already made appearances.
I didn't hear.
He's made appearances at Wrestle.
Yeah. He loves Bailey. Like they're like real cool because she's from the Bay Area and stuff.
Yeah, indeed. So he actually wants it, just like Logan Paul. He thinks that he can transform afterwards his NFL career into a profitable wrestling career. And I think his personality is perfect. He loves to wear the masks. San Francisco 49ers have also partnered. I think they're the official team of Mexico City, and they will be having a game for this upcoming season in Mexico City. And they bring out all the wrestlers for that, bro. Like They really do. Like they bring out, they incorporate all of that part of the aspect of the Mexican culture, luchador wrestling, and they bring it, and it seems like a perfect marriage, to be honest. So I give props to that wrestling organization, a smaller one partnering up with the NFL, luchador masks. Damn, Vince, you're gonna need one. Vince has one of the best man capes I've ever seen.
I know.
Can you hear us, Vince?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh man, you're gonna need to get some of those Dallas. No, are they gonna have every team?
Luchador masks? Yeah, I'm gonna show them real quick. Shout out to Matt. Shout out to Matt. He said, first of all, to answer the WWE will shut down is the same answer if the sun will eventually blow up. The answer is yes, but not anytime soon. That's actually a really good answer. He said, Lo, when you come back on, I want to ask you a question about Tio. So Lo, just know you got a question coming your way at some point. And then Matt, thank you for bringing this point up, which I forgot to mention when I was introducing the topic. The Khan family owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? So Tony Khan, who is the Vince McMahon or Triple H or both of them really of AEW, he's part owners. They're owners of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know what I mean? He was in the draft room selling an angle last year, right? Or no, it was 2 years ago. Tony was in the Jaguars draft room on draft night with the cameras on ESPN, and he had this big old neck brace trying to sell an injury. And so all I know is that this is a big deal. I don't know, let me just show this real quick. So this is a look of what I guess they're going to kind of look like or whatever. They have them in the back. It's like the New York Giants, Kansas City, right? They all look the same style. I wonder if they'll make different styles. It's like this is like the traditional luchador, from the 70s style, like Blue Demon type mask. A lot of people that don't know lucha but know Nacho Libre, right? Like his mask was inspired from the original kind of cut of lucha libre mask, but there's so many different ones today and the styles are so unique and so cool that I wonder if we'll get different versions of them. You know what I mean? But yeah, dude, I'm gonna definitely get one for sure. Vince, what do you think of these?
Do you hear
Vince,
us?
can you hear us?
This is hilarious.
Yo, Vince, you there? 702. Huh. And he's not acting like he can't hear us.
He's saying no.
Oh, no.
I'm definitely going to get a
man.
49ers mask. I love that idea.
Hell yeah. Lo said, Machine Gun Matt, I'm back. Oh, let me just put him real quick. Okay. Matt, whenever you want to ask Lowe's here, but for now, I'm going to say Lowe said, oh, my bad. Tony Khan official title is the chief football strategizer, similar to how my son is the executive producer to Talking About Radio. Dude, that is the biggest. So basically he's saying so Tony's job for the Jackson Jaguars is the same as his son's job as the producer to his job. I mean, to his show. His son's a child, by the way. So that's why that's funny. Ban whoever said they're getting a 49er mask. Yikes, bro. All right. Well, just so you know, Shu, he's probably going to grab himself a cowboy mask so you can hate on him.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So until Matt puts his post on, I'm going to let's actually get to the WrestleMania stuff this Sunday. Listen, the reason why I wanted both of you guys, obviously you're Vegas guys. You've been Vegas guys for a while now. Obviously, if you don't know Shoeshine, he's one of the hardest working journalists and content creators in boxing.
Oh, I wish.
No, definitely he is.
You,
and so I wanted to, and I asked you this question last week, right? But here we are. It's fight week. Shu, I want to start with you. What do you feel like the differences are possibly this year as opposed to last year? Is there, what do you think?
First and foremost, I'm looking at Ticketmaster and I'm astounded, bro. I can't believe how many unsold tickets. Even me, I think I could afford it. I'm looking at some really great seats right now in the $215 range. Fantastic seats. I mean, really, if these were Raider seats, they'd be really expensive. Yeah, you could definitely still get your foot in the door. There's plenty of seats available. I see a lot of blue on Ticketmaster, starting as low as $170. $170 will get you in Saturday night to see to see this event.
Yo, is Joe Jonas? Is that true? Yo, shout out to Alex, who's always in the chat giving us the latest breaking news. This thing just broke like 8 minutes ago on this one. Oh, but 2 hours ago on Ringside News. But shout out to Alex. I didn't know this. Breaking news: Joe Jonas will sing the national anthem at WrestleMania 42. And WrestleMania is dying. Okay. Shout out to Alex. And then shout out to Mex. He said, Shoeshine, is there really a belief that fans figured out to just wait till the day of for cheaper walk-up tickets?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a strategy here in Las Vegas, especially combat sports, specifically boxing. I mean, there's always really good deals with secondhand and ticket brokers that specialize in that. I mean, some of them are people you might follow on X Twitter, and they can usually get you some really good prices on seats at the last minute. That is a strategy. It's not a strategy I would want to do with such a major event like going to a Super Bowl or WrestleMania, which is the Super Bowl of wrestling.
Why? Because you feel like you're going to be limited to like what you can get, or because the price drop isn't as big as it is to make sure that you secure tickets? Like, why wouldn't you wait?
I think because if it's a special event, I want to get good seats. Now, I'm going to just make sure if you do take that approach, the last minute tickets type deal, bro, honestly, sometimes they not be, your choice of seats, there's plenty. I'm looking at Ticketmaster. There's plenty of good seats available, but that is a strategy some people choose to take, like I'm just going to wing it and see what I can get at the last minute, whether it's secondhand market.
Yeah, no. We've seen that before. And listen, here's the thing, like in my markets that I've bought tickets to or have been covered the event, and inquired about tickets. It's not just a situation where like, oh man, the tickets are lower on the day of. There are situations when the tickets are so bad that you can buy a shitty ticket and they're going to bring you down, right? Because like they want the around the ring to seem full, right? Because you can black out everything else. You can put tarps over the other seats. You can do a lot of things to hide an empty arena, right? But you can't hide an empty ringside. That's no way, right? So like I've been in those situations where we've gotten fucking nosebleeds and they're like, hey, come on down to the floor. Like, you know what I mean? So
that's
obviously
always great.
It's not going to happen with Mania, but
Alex
great. Said they should have done Roman versus Cody 3. The tickets would have already been sold out, but the injuries made them spread Cody and Roman out. So I want to ask you one more thing before we actually start talking about anything with the card. Shoeshine, it was announced several months ago that WWE was going to prevent, or they were going to have a blackout. So normally when you go to like shows or events, specifically in Vegas, they have like satellite, shows and stuff like that. But the bars also show, things like that. So I think there's like a 50 mile radius cutoff, if I'm not mistaken. That might be wrong. But what do you think that impact could have, and how pissed off do you expect the Vegas Tourism Board to be about that?
Man, I'm not sure if they're used to that with wrestling, but it's definitely been an issue with boxing. For the longest time in Las Vegas, there'd be blackouts on the strip where bars, like on major holiday Cinco de Mayo and Mexican Independence Day, where you couldn't watch the fight on the strip, bro. You just couldn't. You're there in Vegas. You weren't able to secure seats. Maybe you didn't go with the intention of watching a Canelo fight, but you're on the strip. You see all the electricity, and you're like, you know what? I'd like to watch it at the sports book. Or maybe that sports bar on the strip, it should be playing it, the Canelo fight, right? I'm like right next to the fight. I'd love to watch it. And they definitely have blackout for that on the strip where they just don't show the fight. In fact, you might have to go way, way off the strip, miles and miles away to find a bar that is showing it. With wrestling, man, I really feel like, personally, like if you can't watch it at the stadium, I think the tourism board, there's plenty of places where they could set up massive LCD screens. I know right on the strip they've got some. That would be amazing for fans that just couldn't go and just want to have like a block party type atmosphere. That I think that would actually boost all kinds of like, gaming revenue, people gambling, people buying drinks, people buying food. It's not everybody's going to pony up the, $500 just to get in the foot in the door for a pair of tickets or more, right? So I'm not cool with that. I don't like it at all. I like when they make it accessible to everybody, you know, even if they're showing it on a giant jumbo screen like they would for the NBA finals or something.
Yeah, no. You're absolutely right. It's like a messed up situation here. And especially when you look at what everybody's saying, like the you know, the fans, right? You see Alex in the chat. Lowe's been saying this. Shout out to Mex. He's been saying this for a while. So is Matt. The card just doesn't feel the same as last year, right? And it's like, how do you expect people to pay even more for tickets when ultimately you can't deliver a product that feels similar to this? So I'm just trying to like real quick go over this. So they're doing a 2-night WrestleMania thing, right? So it's Saturday, April 18th, this Saturday, and that's going to be headlined by the Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton match. And then it's CM Punk and Roman Reigns on night 2. Okay. So, obviously Shoeshine, you know, very casual, very outside of the box perspective. And that's what I want from you. Which one of these actually feels like a huge deal to you from the outside perspective looking at this? Let's say that Infight and FX wanted to send you there, right, and cover, but we said we can only afford to have you cover one night. What night would you want to cover? Which match do you feel like has made it feel like WrestleMania?
You know, people are going to laugh because I'm definitely not a hardcore wrestling fan. It'd be night number 1. And I'd be interested in actually in seeing how much of an athlete, you know, Logan Paul, he recently was in that flag football thing. I'd be interested in seeing the guys who've crossed over from being influencers into being athletes. And I want to see IShowSpeed, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory versus the Usos and LA Knight.
Yeah, see, and that's a big thing. No. And that's a big thing that's going on right now is a lot of people are like, oh, you're putting in celebrities, you're ruining WrestleMania. This is why nobody wants to see it. But then there is a louder contention of casual fans, right? That by the way, the WWE is booking for, right? WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, the biggest events of the year. They're not for hardcore wrestling fans. They're for everyone else and trying to get them over. So having Logan Paul, Austin Theory, IShowSpeed versus the Usos and LA Knight on ESPN for free is going to feel like a party. It's going to feel like something you can't miss. And that's what's going to ultimately have people tune over to WrestleMania. So I don't know if you know this, but Logan Paul, the IShowSpeed, that's going to be free for the first hour, ESPN, on regular ESPN.
That's wild. Regular ESPN, yeah.
Regular ESPN.
And then
Jacob
switch
Fatu
over.
and Drew McIntyre are going to be on that same event, night 1 on ESPN. After those 2 matches, they will switch over to you know, the app or whatever. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's the platform. It's the model we use in boxing, right? Get some young contenders on there or young prospects that are looking good and put them on the free YouTube portion of it, and then, you know, bait them into buying the pay-per-view. So I love it. Is there any affiliation with Netflix on this one, or is ESPN 2?
No. So there's no affiliation with Netflix. In fact, there is a growing sentiment from reporters and people that cover wrestling at a much higher level than I do. And the idea is that there's almost this split now happening between the ESPN direction and the Netflix direction, right? And there's so many people in WWE right now under TKO who don't have wrestling backgrounds, but they do have sports and entertainment backgrounds that think that they can just keep going the ESPN route, giving them the celebrities, you know, making it for the guys and the sports-centric people, right? But there's another side to this that says, no, look at what you've done on Netflix. You grew this thing. You made people believe even more. The future of wrestling is not celebrity booking. The future of wrestling is incorporating something like Netflix that can produce documentary style things and Unreal and things like that make the casual fan tune in, right? To your point, real quick, you said this is the boxing, you know, blueprint, and it is, and you're absolutely right. And by the way, the MMA, UFC, they all use that blueprint. Everybody's used this blueprint. It's a thing to do, right? That said, though, the beauty of it happening now is that the most amount of eyeballs they could gather would be gathered, right? And taking it from Netflix or from terrestrial TV is the best thing to do. And I'll give you an example. Women did not watch wrestling a lot, right? Not a lot of women have watched wrestling traditionally. Girls have been left out of the market for decades and decades. But we've seen a surgence in women and girls, younger girls, watching wrestling. Where did that come? That came when Total Divas, the Bellas show on News, all those documentaries that appeal to women, that women like to watch, the man and the wife living in their household, how do they raise their kids, all those things that women like is now incorporated in a wrestling package. So now you're the kid, the 15-year-old girl or the 27-year-old mom who's watching Total Bellas or Total Divas every week. Then of course, at some point you're going to be like, I wonder what they're doing on Monday, or I wonder what they're doing on Friday. Or what's that pay-per-view going to look like on Saturday? And so at some point, you made those people fans. I think that's the way that the Netflix route should go. But I will ask you one more thing about this, okay? Because you said night one. How on the radar for you is night two's opening match, Obafemi and Brock Lesnar? Obafemi and Brock Lesnar are fighting night one on free ESPN the same way Logan Paul and them are.
Man.
Do you know who Obafemi is?
I'm not familiar with his wrestling, but I'm excited to see Brock Lesnar back in as a professional wrestler. I'm excited to see Brock Lesnar, to be honest.
You are so fucking good at this. I love. Oh, my bad. I didn't see Lo. My bad, Lo. I had it on the thing.
See.
Lo, you're on. Can you hear me? You're on mute. You got to unmute yourself because you put yourself on mute.
Yeah, I got you. I was
go ahead. Sorry, champ. I knew I was going to go after it real quick. Let me just go to it real quick. So he said, this is Matt. Low Nose Boxing. Do you think Tio thought he became a bigger star than he actually was, and that it was started his mental ruin, not the loss to Kambosos? I always thought he got a big head post Loma. So this is a little off, but Lo, we're going to let you answer that real quick.
Yeah. I feel that after the Lomachenko win, he did get a little bit, hate to say, he was getting a little corny. He was parading everywhere with the belt. You know what I mean? He was acting a little different, brand new. He was acting like the guy at the job that gets a promotion. He starts, acting high and mighty. As far as his fan base, as far as his popularity goes, when Tio started making race bait comments, first he did it with the blacks. He lost their support, right? Because they were rooting for him for Lomachenko, and they were rooting for him, and some of them still root for Tio. Tio, before he made the remark about beating Puerto Rican fighters and saying that Puerto Ricans are easy, Tio was kind of a stepson to us. New York Ricans had adopted Tio, being that Puerto Ricans are so, I hate to say it right now, so I'm not going to say desperate, I'm going to say hungry for an elite fighter. Tio's a Latino fighter in New York City, so a lot of the Puerto Rican fans were really backing him up heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like the way the Mexicans were backing up Triple G. And when he made that statement, the only Caribbean fans that he has is myself and Punch Drunk Boxing. That's all he has. He lost all the Puerto Rican fans. So it did hurt his marketability because he doesn't have a country. If he's a Mexican fighter, he has a Mexican support team. If he's a Puerto Rican fighter, he has Puerto Ricans. He doesn't have any because he lost the Puerto Rican fan base. And then he got whitewashed by a Puerto Rican fighter in Shakur Stevenson. And like I said before, the only fans he has on YouTube is me, Punch Drunk Boxing, and I think another guy named HLD. Everybody else is a Tio hater.
Yo, and I'll be honest, Lo, I love you. I do. You are funny. You have great comment points, right? And my favorite thing about you is you're a fan of all the combat sports, just like I am. But I'll be honest, champ. And again, I say this with love for Punch because I love Punch, but that's not the greatest, group to be associated with. Like, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I love them dudes. I do. Punch is the man, but let's be honest, like he's like total propaganda for Tio. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I say that with love. Like he's the champ. You know what I'm saying? Follow Punch. I love him. I'll watch him all the time, but
the thing with Punch,
honest, you know what I mean? He's Tio propaganda. That's how he's labeled today on the internet.
No, but you're right. But what I will say about Punch is this: he actually has a real relationship with them. He knows these guys.
No,
he's
that's
not
fair.
that's fair.
That's fair.
That's his friend. He's been around him, so right. I can't blame him for that. You know what I'm saying? And
no, I agree. But at the same time, I can't keep you in the realm of YouTube content creators in the same realm that I see like guys like Shu or Abe or whatever, right? Because or Matt, because again, it's the friend, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like if I came out and I said, all right, I'm gonna be a journalist, but really my whole career is gonna be to push Jerry Belmontes. You know what I mean? And again, no hate. I'm just saying it's like I don't know if they see it the way that everybody else sees it, but hey, Lo, appreciate the answer. You could come back on, jump back on whenever you want.
Absolutely. And by the way, Brock Lesnar's gonna beat this guy. It's a shame because they're making Brock Lesnar look, they're making him look weak, right? And they're gonna break all the fans' hearts when he beats Obafemi. I see it. Either that
yikes, Lo saying it.
Either that's what's gonna happen, or Paul Heyman's gonna cheat Brock Lesnar and and get down with Obafemi. I'm gonna keep on listening, bro.
Champ, you're the champ. Listen, so I'm gonna show you who Obafemi is real quick. All right.
Yeah, I just seen his pictures. He's a beast.
In one, like, images, in like one group of images. This is the man right here. So this is Obafemi. This was night one. So this is what you have to understand about this segment. I can't show it obviously because we'll get fucking kicked off of YouTube. But what happened was Brock Lesnar came out on this night on Monday Night Raw. This was March 18th, 2026. And actually, I think it was the 17th. And so what happened was Brock Lesnar came out to beat up Seth Rollins, who beat up Paul Heyman. Okay. Obafemi came out because originally Brock had an open challenge for WrestleMania, whoever wants to face him. So for 3 weeks in a row, Obafemi owned Brock Lesnar in the shortest amount of time that anyone ever has. Now, you can't use the word squash when it comes to a segment, right? Because they're designed to be one way or the other. But if you could, what has happened over these 3 weeks is Obafemi has virtually squashed Brock Lesnar in every segment that they've had together. This is his package, and this is what he did to Brock Lesnar, something none of us had ever expected to see. He got pop-up powerbomb. So look, this was image one, about to send him into the stratosphere. This was image two. Brock Lesnar, that's about as high as you've ever gotten Brock Lesnar in a move. Anyone, okay? And yet, we went higher. That is, ladies and gentlemen, an image of Brock Lesnar above the ropes. Look at his ass. Look at the ropes. That is above the ropes, okay? Obafemi lifted Brock fucking Lesnar over the ropes. And now look at Paul selling it. Oh my God. If this guy doesn't get a fucking daytime, what do they give him? Daytime Emmys?
Daytime Emmy?
if he doesn't get a daytime Emmy for this shit, I swear to God, the whole thing is a hoax. It's a hoax because this guy is doing the best cinematic drama of anybody on TV right now. So then you saw there's a different angle, and eventually he got fucking slammed. Look at the air. Look at the air, Shushan. Look at the air. Wow. None of them are on the ground. None of them are on the ground. He is ankles up like you're on Pornhub, but this is fucking Netflix, WWE.com. I mean, Netflix.com. Got slammed. So this was the worst one in my, I'm not the worst. I mean, this was the best one in terms of getting Oba over. Okay. So again, for 3 weeks, we have gotten these sort of messages, but you just heard what Lo said, right? He said that he fully expects Brock Lesnar to get over on this man, Obafemi. Let me ask you a question real quick. So you see the excitement on the chat. You see everybody coming over saying, shit like they remind them of Bill Goldberg.
What's up, Wiley?
Yeah. Shout out to Wiley, Wiley Coyote in the chat. Shout out to Drew in the chat too, champ. Anytime you want to jump on, Drew, you are more than welcome to come on. It's a big mistake if Brock wins. You see it there. Someone in Drew who you trust very much. Let me ask you a question. When you have a stardom explode like this, because you yourself said you weren't familiar with Obafemi, because his star has only risen in the last several weeks. What would you think from an outsider's perspective? Would it be the time to push a guy like Obafemi, or do you think it might be disrespectful to let Obafemi squash a Brock Lesnar who has literally squashed everyone else? The new guy on the block comes in, you can make a star out of him, but then it ruffles feathers in the locker room. What do you think? What do you think of the situation?
Dang, is Brock Lesnar aging out of the WWE?
He is actually, and thank you. I'm so glad you
This
even
might be a
this is
prime.
why Shoe Shine's so
This
good.
might be
He's
a
just
prime
great
time.
journalist. These are the best questions. Yes, and I did a bad job of telling you that Brock Lesnar's final year is supposed to be this year. That is the rumor. They are saying that his SummerSlam match in August will be his final match and he will be retired. The rumor is that Gunther is one who will retire him since he retired John Cena, AJ Styles, and Bill Goldberg. It would only make sense. In fact, it doesn't make any sense for it to not be anyone but Gunther. That said, what you going to do? What would you do as the booker? You're a casual. What would you do as the booker? Do you put it on Obafemi and the mass stardom he's acquired? By the way, Israel Adesanya, the UFC fighter named Stylebender, came out because they're both Nigerian. He came out and he said Obafemi is the only reason to watch WrestleMania right now. He said Obafemi is the only thing I'm actually watching on wrestling right now. He said Obafemi is carrying the product. Wow. And the casual fans seem to be agreeing.
And
based on every likes.
Everybody Sunday will get a chance to watch this for free on ESPN. Regular, good old-fashioned ESPN, right? This will be the opening bout. Man, I'm passing the torch. If he's got a contract less than a year, I'm passing the torch because in between now and August of what you said, 2020 next year?
Yep.
Oh, this year, right? SummerSlam is this year.
This year.
This gives Ford's an opportunity for Brock Lesnar to go out with a win. You know, he's coming off a dramatic loss at WrestleMania.
Very good point.
And now he's got to go out on, and sail off into the sunset with a big victory. So it gives you an opportunity for him to retire with a big win, and meanwhile set up Obafemi as the next generation guy.
Dude, you're so right about that too. And here's the thing: everybody's gonna be pissed because they're gonna be like, "Oh, Oba should have won," right? My thing is this, right? You have to build someone up to take him down. And Brock Lesnar has been built up for a long time. All I know is that 3 weeks of a program has made Obafemi seem like the favorite, right? So if you're going to retire this guy in August, then I don't think it makes sense for you to have him lose the biggest matches heading towards that, right? So I get your point 100%. You got to get somebody over. Only one person can get over on Brock Lesnar, right? Because if Oba does it on Sunday, then why is it special come SummerSlam, right? I think though that it is clear by them by the way, just so you know, people were calling for this to be the main event. People were saying that this should be the main event. Obafemi Brock Lesnar over CM Punk and Orton. And some people were even saying it's better than CM Punk and Roman Reigns. I don't agree with that, but some people are saying that. So it's like this guy's been made a star on the week of WrestleMania, on fight week, right? Trending up. I don't see how you can topple it. I don't see how you can just topple it. Even if you are, here's the thing, like you could have Obafemi win and then get the win back, right? Right? Like before SummerSlam. So I don't know. I just think putting over a new star in front of the most eyeballs that will be on the product, right? Because like, what maybe 25% of the people watching ESPN on that night will convert over. Actually, that sounds pretty high, but let's say that's the case, bro. That's 25 new fans of Obafemi, or 25% of new fans of Obafemi, like without a doubt, if he gets over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, by the way, I wanted to give a shout out to Wally Coyote. I missed his comment. He said he's not aging out. He's just on a cycle.
Hilarious.
He just did a cycle. But
hilarious.
The thing is that at that age, at 48, 49, are you on testosterone the entirety of the time? I mean, it's like it's not like they forbid it, right? They don't forbid it in the WWE after a certain age, do they?
So they do test, but I don't think they test guys like Brock Lesnar, fucking Roman. Like they don't test those guys. No,
yeah, because those guys at 48, there's really like, you're going to be TRT full time. You're probably on a TRT regiment full time. I mean, dude, living here as someone in my 40s, you'll be shocked in Las Vegas the amount of, and I've talked about it on my channel, anti-aging clinics in Las Vegas.
Oh yes,
that cater to you. You'll see them all over Summerlin, Henderson. These affluent communities, bro. They'll push that on you at like early 40s. Like, yeah, you should be on TRT now. You know, we got this thing. You just come in for an injection once a week. It's a whole racket, bro, because they want to put you on TRT, and then they want to send you out for their blood panels and their blood work, and you got to come back and see me next month. You know, I gotta see how the TRT is doing.
Real shit right now. You're saying
contemplated
real shit right now.
No, it's everybody in this. I'm not saying everybody, but it's not even frowned upon here. Like, they push it really young, and I don't think most guys, if you're in your early 40s, man, think about it really hard and long before you go on full testosterone TRT replacement, because it's too early, in my humble opinion, to be going on TRT.
I'll tell you a story real quick, because you set this up so well. And by the way, there's like a lot of stuff going on right now about this, right? Like CNN just did a huge report. It's like an hour-and-a-half long docuseries on the aging thing, right? And there's like people like Clavicular and the guy that used to call himself Bruce Wayne on YouTube. Like, you know, these people are becoming more popular than ever, and it's the anti-aging rhetoric that is there. Because think about it, it's like every single person that makes it past a certain age at some point thinks about aging, right? Most people, when I go to buy dip or Zyn, they ID me, right? I don't think I look 18, but a lot of people think I look like late 20s, right? Shit, I'm almost fucking 40. No kids. That's what did it, right? But at the end of the day, I learned things about the aging process and realized I fucked up, right? Because I did take testosterone. I mean, not testosterone. I took it was testosterone, but it wasn't a test booster. So I did take SARMs, and I have taken steroids, and I took both of those things in my late 20s. Okay. When I did it, I did all the research on what was positive about it. And the negative aspects of it, I never really looked into, because I'd always heard they were overblown. Took steroids, got fucking strong as shit. But the biggest thing was I never got injured. I never got tired. People think that steroids make you some beast monster that's able to lift anything. Not the case. The truth is, you're able to lift and lift without getting tired, without getting hurt. 2 weeks off of testosterone, my fucking shoulder gave out. I had a huge shoulder injury, and the likelihood, the doctor said, was that I suffered this injury a while back, but the steroids kept me from feeling it. And so ultimately it had a lot of negative fucking, shit. Right. And so I'm not saying that people shouldn't go on testosterone. All I'm saying is you're right. That should be like the final step. Right. I tried to get it on it when I was 32, because the test had driven down my natural production.
Right.
I went to my doctor to get a test so that I could have those results. So if I wanted to get on testosterone, I could. Did it. Everything worked. I literally got approved for everything. Got to my urologist, and he said, yep, you're qualified for this. I'm going to tell you, though, I can see how big you are. I can see what these tests probably are revealing to me. If you get on them now, you're on them forever and you're done. I don't think that's a very good thing at 32 for you. And so he talked me out of it. I never got it. And I think I'm happier and healthier for it. You know what I'm saying? And you look at Brock Lesnar and you say everything you say, and that's true. Even though in 2001, you can see he clearly looks bigger. 2003, he's clearly bigger than he is in 2025. But do you know how much harder it is at 45 plus years of age to look the way he does in 2025 than it is comparative to 2001 when he's in his 20s and
it's
basically his body's producing steroids? Like, that's the way it works.
Yeah, it's a full-time job.
No, you're absolutely right. And then Alex said, the problem if Oba beats Brock, who does he face next? Punk, Roman? Oba beating Brock would put them in a corner as for immediate options. And Alex is so right. And this is what Shoeshine said. It's like you have to build up. Like, nobody gave a fuck about Thanos because of it, of like everything else, right? It was Infinity Wars when he snapped away all of your favorites that you were like, oh, this is a big bad now. This is a guy that's going to be very tough to stop. That's the way wrestling works. You got to build these monsters up so they look, too good to stop.
Indeed. Hey, shout out to Paul Martinez in the chat. He's in my channel. I just want to say shout out to Paul.
Hell yeah.
By the way,
also SummerSlam's in Minnesota. I didn't know that. That's where Brock's from. So
You know, Brock Lesnar's daughter, she's somebody I mentioned in the chat. Shout out to them who said that his opponent was Brock's opponent is a shot put guy. And Brock Lesnar's daughter, she's like top collegiate athlete for shot put. And she's dating a 49er. He was on our roster last year. His name is Drew something. He's a tackle. I remember seeing that. Yeah, she's dating a 49er.
It might be him. Drew Moss.
Paul also says it's roids and testosterone isn't a miracle, folks. You still have to put in work. Yeah,
absolutely.
You still have to work out, just like whether or not you're one of these GLP-1 drugs.
Exactly.
People think you just get on Ozempic and keep eating like crap and not work out. You still have to do that.
Bro, no, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna keep it a G. And Wiley said it. He said once you go on test, you start shooting blanks. Let me tell y'all, bro.
That's true.
I'm not afraid to say this. I'm not. The scariest moment, one of the scariest moments of my life was during my third cycle. I think I was maybe 2.5 weeks in of a 4-week cycle. It was actually an 8-week, but 4 weeks on the test and then 4 weeks on the SARMs. I get into the shower, right? Woke up, pop in, kind of just letting the warm water like wake me up. And now I'm awake and I'm like, all right, let me get this fucking shower over with. As soon as I put the soap on the loofah, I look and I see something and I'm like, what the fuck? Bro, my balls had shrunk probably about 3 times the size that they were the day before. Swear to God.
Well,
it was
I give you
so
credit for
scary
talking about this.
I
give you credit for talking about it open because guy, I've never done a test cycle because not just because of that, but there's a lot of reasons. I had to see a urologist. Some of you guys know that I had a serious bladder issue last year. I had surgery for, so I'm not about to get on it. I've talked to my doctor about it, but for guys in their 30s and 20s, and you mentioned clavicular, bro, you still have your whole 20. You don't know if you want to have a family yet or not. And then if you get stuck on this testosterone replacement, you could be spending a year and a half to become fertile again.
Yeah, exactly.
To try to reverse
it. It may not happen.
And you just might blow up the chances of, marrying the right girl or marrying the girl that wants to marry you. And you have to tell her, I'm not fertile,
bro. And that's the other thing too. They never tell you that when you're at that age, like from like 15 to like 24, your body basically produces steroids. Like your body, dude, listen, when I was in high school, I had no idea like about testosterone or what changes were going through my body. Right. And I started benching. I benched 125, right? By the end of that school year, I was benching 225.
Naturally.
And did nothing. Didn't take any sort of, I didn't even take protein at that time. And you know what I mean? It's just like a natural thing. And I wish that they would have told me like how long your natural testosterone produces for. You know, I got over influenced by social media, YouTube, right? I got over influenced by guys telling me like, nah, this is the way, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, the healthiest aspect of it was I was going to the gym. You know what I mean? And that kept me healthy enough. But yeah, bro, like, man, I'll never forget. I was doing 80-pound shoulder press for reps. 80 pounds, bro.
For reps, that's
never
huge.
Done more than 50 or 55.
That's how you blew out your shoulder.
and I remember it was that. I was like, oh, cool. 2 weeks later, bro, I lifted a 45-pound dumbbell with both arms like this. Fucking heard. And I just dropped it. I screamed. Everyone in the gym turned to look at me like, what the fuck? My cousin did. He thought I was trolling. He's like, dude, what the fuck is your problem? Bro, that shit went out. I couldn't even lift it like above here. It was the worst thing ever. You know what I mean? It was like I did all these steroids to get myself to this position where ultimately I couldn't even lift anymore. You know what I mean? I had to take like a full fucking months off because I couldn't lift anymore. And so, yeah, bro, it's just not worth it.
First guy ever.
Go ahead. My bad.
First guy. I'm talking late 1990s. First guy that I knew very closely was a old football player teammate of mine who got drafted to Oregon Ducks, man. Or he went to Oregon, played football for the Ducks, and he was about 6'5". He played a totally different position. He got to Oregon, and they said you're going to be a tight end, which today 6'5" is exactly what they want in the NFL for a tight end. But he told us that you know, he had blown out his knee twice, and he's like, bro, you know, I got to this collegiate program and they were pushing steroids down. I mean, I don't know if it was the school, you know, or the pressure, but he admitted to us he was on steroids, and that none of his joints or anything was ever the same, you know, and that was the end of his football career.
Damn, bro, that's crazy. Yo, shout out to Wiley Coyote. He said that clavicular thought speed is more popular than Ronaldo. I saw that, and I'm like, that is, see, and that's their world, right? Because I don't know if people know this, but like Joe Rogan, Clav, like these guys don't watch football or baseball or basketball. And I'm not saying that makes you less American or less a guy, not at all. All I'm saying is that having bonds with different kinds of guys, right? Like different dudes. Some dudes like football, some dudes like chess, some dudes like fucking ballet, right? Having friends, guy friends that are diversified help to, at the end of the day, expose you to things that, right? Because like when I was a kid, I was like, oh, if you're a male cheerleader, you're probably gay. You're probably this. Now today, I know that if you're a male cheerleader and you're straight, two things are probably true. One, you probably look better than I ever have in my life. And two, you probably got more girls than I ever have in my 40 years of living.
You're getting laid
compared to your 18. Exactly. And but I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a stupid guy who let other stupid guys influence their train of thoughts. And now here am I today trying to like recoup from all that. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. It really is. And so I don't blame the young kids who look at Clav or look at Aiden or look at some of these guys and say, oh man, like this is, you know what I mean? But like, it's about providing another option for them to be like, oh, you know what? Those guys are whack as shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. I'm just like trying. And also shout out to Paul, bro. He is so smart. It's also overeating junk food and chemicals that age people poorly. He's so right. Like, it's not about, hey, what can I do to reverse the aging process? It's what do I need to stop doing?
It's crazy, man. I'm drinking a bottled water, and I've just been getting into the whole forever chemicals and plastics. And somebody told me you need to get a sauna. You need to get an infrared sauna. That's like the best thing to get rid of those plastic toxins and whatnot. And
wow,
an infrared sauna.
I didn't know that.
Like now I'm like, you know, I'm telling my wife, man, can I get a sauna? Can we get a sauna? Can we get a sauna?
Hey, they say we got plastics in our brain. We got like 2% more plastics in our brain than any other generation before us. So shit, I mean, if that works, you know what I mean? Listen, a couple of more real quick WrestleMania topics. Let me ask you, Shu, in your time watching WrestleMania, right? Obviously casual fan, probably a bigger fan when you were younger.
Yeah.
Can you give me a match that you think like perfectly embodies the WrestleMania spirit, right? So then there have been things like Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, Bret Hart, Yokozuna, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, just a bunch of different iconic things, right? Is there anything that sticks out for you in past WrestleMania histories?
Well, for me, it'd be like Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, or what was that? The Rock in 2000. What?
With Cena?
Yeah. What year was that one? See, those are ones that, as a casual fan, I remember.
Yeah, let me see. Cena versus.
But I don't think you could beat that Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, man. 93,000 fans. Like, that had to be the peak of wrestling popularity to be able to get
2013.
93,000 people.
Absolutely. And it changed the business, right? I mean, it changed the business, but it also gave a blueprint for what the business should be, right? And WrestleMania has become that place where you pass the torch, right? So like the Giant did it to Hogan. Hogan tried to do it for Warrior. Then he did it years later with The Rock, you know, Michaels and Ric Flair. Like there's just a bunch of moments where you can see that happening. What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, no, it was Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, Drew said he'll hop on. Drew, I'm gonna send it to the chat. So it's in the YouTube chat. Oh, actually, can you put it in yours too? Because he probably won't see it from mine.
I'll put it in. Well, this
one
is
put it on yours too, so that way Drew can see it and come on. But yeah, listen, I think that's a very, very good example of what I'm trying to get to, right? Because I look at this card and I don't see that. I mean, yes, Roman and Punk is a big match, but it's not a big match if you haven't been watching the product for the last decade and a half. You know what I mean? Hogan and Giant gave us the optics. So if you weren't a casual fan, or I'm sorry, if you weren't a hardcore fan and you hadn't been watching that program, then that was a spectacle to you. Seeing a guy the size of Hogan body slam a guy the size of the Giant. You don't need to be a hardcore fan to understand those optics, right? That is biblical type shit, right? What was it? Fuck. Was it David? I don't remember the Bible story, but one of them beats a giant or whatever. And those are the kinds of things that, thank you, David and Goliath. Thank you. So I got one of the names right. And so it's like one of those situations where it's easier to book for the casual fans, I think, a lot of times than it is anything else. Drew, what's going on, champ?
Yep.
What's going on, man?
What's good, Drew? What you rocking there? Is that Yankees? What you wouldn't wear Yankees? What does that say?
Oh, he's wearing we can see it.
Never.
That's the old school Philly logo. I love it.
Nah, I'm on my way to the store real quick. I figure I'll come on for a couple minutes.
Oh, we got the new Flyers hat. I see that, Drew. The Big P Flyers hat.
Hey, Drew, before you talk about wrestling, I need to know when Trey Turner's going to fucking step it up, man, because he is on my team and that he's letting me down so much right now.
When everybody's going to step up.
When's everybody going to? That's right. When's the Houston Astros fucking pitching staff going to stop getting hurt every 5 seconds?
Like, I told people, I won't be surprised if Phillies win 85 games.
Damn, 85?
Way they playing, yeah.
Whoa,
Drew, it can't get worse. I saw my San Francisco Giants numbers today, man. We're dead last at everything. Home runs, walks.
And it's crazy because I really thought San Francisco was going to be good, dude. Logan Webb coming into one of his best years.
I know he had a good.
And they had a good
baseball.
They had a good preseason too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyway, Drew, what is going on, champ? WrestleMania. Are you excited? Are you not excited? What's going on?
I'll tell you the truth. I really. I think North American wrestling hasn't been at its best lately.
Mm.
Like,
okay,
I think a lot of it could be better. I think AEW could possibly take a step above WWE if they shorten their pay-per-views and everything on the East Coast. You got their pay-per-views lasting on Sunday nights to 1 a.m. and people got to go to work the next day. So
that was a bad look, dude. That was such a bad look.
But I look at it like this. I think if you have Brock go over, it's the biggest mistake because this is the future you're pushing now. Like, you make him look strong in the match, but I think he F-spies him. Everybody thinks it's over. Omba just gets up out of nowhere.
Kicks out. Oh, that would be sick. So to start the match, that's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying as the match goes on.
At the climax. Wait, but wait, Drew, how long do you think that match should last? You don't think it should last more than like 5 minutes, right?
10 minutes.
You want Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar to go 10 minutes?
Because the way it's gonna go, they're gonna go hit each other. They're gonna go at each other.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's gonna be like full force right off the bat. The immovable object versus the unstoppable force type shit.
Yeah. But look at it like this. I'm going to give you something right now. And I said this to a couple people. Woman.
Oh, there we go. Champ, I think the stores. Dang, he's cutting out.
Hear me?
I think it's the store.
It's like
you're cutting out in and out. I think it's because of the store.
There you
probably.
Go.
There you go. Nope, froze all the way.
Or not. I wanted to get his take. What's the storyline with?
Yeah.
What's the Pat McAfee storyline all about? Explain that. Dumb it down to me as somebody who's a casual. So I'm familiar with the sports talk.
Can you guys hear me?
Walmart Wi-Fi. Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So
I can hear you all the way.
Shoeshine was talking about the Pat McAfee storyline. I'll explain it to him, but first, tell me what your thoughts on it, so that he can get it, and then I'll tell him what's going on.
Well, they're trying. This is a TKO move at the end of the day.
Really?
Because he's for ESPN. You got to do something because there's This is the first full year on ESPN. So you do something to make them feel better.
Yeah. No. He's very right. And let me just explain it real quick. Shu. So what is happening right now is Pat McAfee was introduced into the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns rivalry. Now, if you're familiar at all with Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns, you know that they have a long history dating back to before Cody Rhodes left WWE, helped start AEW, and then came back, right? So there was a feud there that we've been waiting for. It happened. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, despite the fact that the feud had been going well and received well by fans, they introduced Pat McAfee. Now, the problem with the way they did it was that Pat McAfee wasn't known at first. All we knew is that Randy Orton every week on SmackDown was talking to somebody on the phone. And it was somebody that we were expected to be a big name, right? And specifically somebody representing TKO. Most people thought it was The Rock. It ended up being Pat McAfee. Now, the problem was they let that thing go for so long that the fans started to get obsessed with it, thinking it was Vince McMahon, thinking it was Shane McMahon, thinking it was all these names that it was never going to be. And then it broke their heart when they realized it was Pat McAfee. And one of the biggest reasons that it's continued to break the heart is because Pat McAfee, even though he's so good at talking, even though he's so good at delivering heel energy, he's just been nothing but a walking, talking commercial. The first time he came out, it was basically to sell WrestleMania tickets. The second time he came out, he did this whole promo that a lot of people loved. And at the very end, he said, and that is why the good people at Dodge who make Ram 1500s are giving you 25% off of WrestleMania tickets night one. Thank me now, San Jose. And it was this big old fucking boo chant because everybody was like, oh, this is all bullshit. This is all TKO inserting a star that they believe is a star into this program simply for the bottom line of money. The other aspect of this is that The Rock didn't show up last year, right? And he was supposed to be that TKO board representative. Now, this WrestleMania, Road to WrestleMania, they've continued to say somebody from TKO is pulling the strings, right? Adam Pearce, who is the GM for Monday Night Raw, is supposed to have the most power, has been undercut every week by this mysterious person on the phone. Now everyone thinks The Rock is showing up, but ultimately the truth is that Ari Emanuel, who owns TKO, who owns a lot of big things, who's, if you ask me, somewhat of a controversial character, and his background is very controversial. And so when you look at it and you say, here's Ari Emanuel, last year he brought The Rock in, this year he brought in Pat McAfee. At the end of the day, this guy is a suit. He is an agent. Why should he be doing anything that impacts the booking of a wrestling show? Now, the last thing I want to mention to you, because this is to me the biggest part of this, Ari Emanuel went on the record this past year saying that he envisions Pat McAfee to be the next Sylvester Stallone. He thinks that Pat McAfee has it in him to cross over to the Hollywood world and start to be an actor and, basically fulfill all of the duties that Sylvester Stallone had once filled as Rocky, an action star, kind of the guy's guy in Hollywood and all that, right? The new John Wayne type of style, right? And so them putting him in Mania will increase his bottom line, right? But guess who's that also increases? Ari Emanuel's cut, because he represents the head of TKO as well as most of these guys' agents. So how is it not conflict of interest? Hearing all that, Shu, I know it's a lot, but what do you think? What are your thoughts?
I'm more interested in
TKO is Zuffa, by the way.
Yeah, this is the same one, right?
Mm-hmm. They own Zuffa. They own Zuffa Boxing, UFC, the WWE, PBR, Professional Bull Riding, and Slap Boxing, and one other thing. I forget which.
Man, I ended up having to research something about that Pat McAfee ticket push. So it says here, according to WrestleTix, the first night of the event currently has 42,700 tickets distributed with a configuration setup of 45,767 seats. WrestleMania Saturday had a strong late push with 2,105 tickets sold over the past 4 days after, I guess, that Pat McAfee announcement.
Exactly. But here's the context to that, though, Shoeshine, and this is what you have to know. Every year, when it comes to the second week before the go-home show of Raw, so that was a week from this past Monday, that is when the WrestleMania tickets experience their biggest increase in raise. Now, listen to this part of it. Shout out to Abe in the chat. Now, listen to this part of it, right? The tickets for night one, for which the 25% was given off by Dodge, increased tenfold, along similar numbers that we've seen in the past. But the night two tickets, the ones that weren't promoted, the ones that didn't have a 25% off, the one that Pat McAfee's not a part of, it oversold them by 200. So if night two sold more, and it didn't have all of the luxury of a 25% deal and a promo and all this stuff with Pat McAfee, then you have to ask yourself, how much did all that really even help? Right?
Well,
Abe, what's going on, champ?
Yo, you already know what it is. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'll tell you. Go ahead.
Please tell me. It's almost like when Mario told me he was going to send 2 articles since Saturday and he hasn't sent them yet. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I got the previews ready. I do.
What's
I'm
up,
going to tell you this right now.
What's going on?
What's going on? Shout out to fightsatw.com. What's going on, Drew? Tell me.
This is night 2 is going to be the biggest shocker, because I tell you this, the main event, and this is a prediction, and I think this might happen. CM Punk's going to turn heel, and Paul Heyman's going to reunite with CM Punk as the mastermind from the get-go of the Vision. That he's the one that got Seth Rollins kicked out of the Vision. And it just
I don't
everything
know
points that way.
Does it hit without Braun Breaker is my question. But
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Braun, he can say Braun is the future, and I've been grooming him behind the scenes the whole time. He's the man. He'll be the mastermind, and everybody thinking, oh, Seth is being built up as this motivator and everything, but it was really CM Punk the whole time. And I think that's how they can do it. Because, like, if you look at it, night 1, it's predictable booking when it comes to Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. Randy Orton's going to win that match because the stipulation of Pat McAfee would never be on wrestling TV again if he does not leave as champion.
Very good point. Very good point. And they're saying that the pay-per-view Backlash is going to have Pat McAfee teaming with Randy Orton against Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll. So yeah, it kind of gives up the booking. Abe, I want to ask you real quick. The ticket prices, obviously it's a thing, but we're here WrestleMania week. How much of this does feel like WrestleMania week for you?
It doesn't, not too much. Usually there's a lot more hype behind it, right? I think also because, listen, both nights, I mean, it's day and night, really, when you look at the card. I mean, that first night doesn't compare to that second night. Like, I'm almost hesitant to skip the first night, really.
Oof.
You know, and just go with the second night, because the second night is loaded from top to bottom, which to the point of the guy walking over there that was in he was in Walmart, Drew. Okay, to his point, I think that something has to happen. Something big has to happen in that first night, like really like a big shocker, because right now, as it stands, it's too predictable, as he said. And, you know, okay, Randy Orton wins the title, so what? Right? So what? What is it? Why is that important? Why is that special to us that he wins the title? Something has got to happen that makes you say, oh, shit. And even in a sense where it might bleed into that second night, you know, so it makes you anticipate that second night even more, because something happened in that first night that could also affect the second night.
I didn't think of that at all. And that goes to Drew's point. So what match then do you feel most WrestleMania about? A lot of people seem to be excited about the iShow Speed Logan Hart stuff, especially because it's on free TV. Obafemi the next night, a match that we both said could be the main event, now opening the card. But which one feels most mania to you?
Nah, listen, that Oba and Brock Lesnar, I think that they made the mistake. I know that they needed to keep, you know, Cody and his ego, you know, in a certain place, but that should have been main event night one, bro.
For real.
That was it right there. Like they needed to do that. How you gonna have like 3 contract signings for the same match, right? And the heat behind it, and then you're gonna. But this is where I understand. It sounds more like an ESPN driven decision because they're putting Brock versus Oba on the ESPN portion of the show. The first hour is on ESPN, not on the Plus or on the bonus, the ESPN Ultimate, whatever they call it. It's on the ESPN proper. So Brock Lesnar has that UFC MMA name.
Very much so.
People that don't even watch wrestling be like, oh, Brock Lesnar is on ESPN. Let me watch this. And then they're hoping that half of those people will then go in and go on the ESPN, the bonus subscription or whatever, and either go to that programming or sign up for it at that moment or whatever. But
agreed.
It's an ESPN move if it really feels like that.
Drew, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I got one question. I gotta leave after this, but I got one question. Does anybody sense the Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn match to be a double turn?
Yes, 1000%.
Yeah.
Like in fact, Drew, if you allow me real quick to plug my own work, 2 weeks ago on fightsatw.com, the Monday Night Raw show, or the SmackDown, recap, I actually wrote this. Okay. I wrote that Sami Zayn's heel turn might be one of the worst in the history of wrestling, which includes John Cena's, because this thing's been going on for a year, right? And so now they got to the point where they said, hey guys, Trick Williams being cheered like a face, Sammy's getting booed like a heel. Let's send him out to WrestleMania and let's run the Bret Hart Stone Cold switcheroo, right? For those that don't remember, Bret Hart walked into WrestleMania that night, the face came out the heel. Stone Cold walked in, the heel came out the face. The problem is we're already there. Trick Williams has been getting cheered for the last 2 months as a face, and Sami Zayn got booed out of the building this past week. And by the way, they were in California. And if you didn't understand why Sami Zayn was pleading to the fans in California, please cheer for me, it was because that's where he came up in the indies, Guerrilla Pro Wrestling, all these places. He was begging for some hardcore marks in there to start chanting for his name because the time had not come for the heel turn. This is the worst setup in history. At the end of the day, they have to do it now because it makes no sense not to do it. But my argument would be that it's already happened. It's already happened. And half these matches were overcooked. And we as boxing fans know a little bit about that, about overcooking matches. I mean, I look at Stephanie and Liv and I'm like, this match should have already just happened, right? But I don't know. Listen, they got the Intercontinental ladder match. Okay. Shoeshine, you can see the names here. How many of these names do you recognize, by the way? Is it just Rey Mysterio, or have you seen Penta before?
No, I haven't seen. If I've seen him, I don't recognize him.
Got it. So this is Penta
Being
right
honest.
here. He is one of the biggest luchadors in the world right now. Some people would argue he is the biggest. He was in AEW. They left to come to the bigger crowd, but this is a guy who provides a lot of action. Rey Mysterio, obviously we know him. Javon Evans, these are guys that are going to make a show. Abe, I'll ask you first. Is this an ESPN match? Like, I mean, it is an ESPN match, but is this an ESPN match that can have a positive intake or on the WrestleMania itself, night 2?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you look at the YouTube numbers that Lucha Libre AAA has been doing, I think that tells you that answers that question. They've been doing some big numbers, and people are attracted to that. That's the I don't mean to say this in a disrespectful way. It's the circus act part of it, right? Because they're doing a lot of high flying stuff, a lot of top rope stuff, and people get attracted to that, right? People are attracted by the oohs and ahs. So yeah, there's no question that that's a match that you're gonna put on there and it's going to gain people's attention, and you want that.
Shoeshine, Is
Dude,
the
I'm
ladder
so
match something? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. The same
I'm
question.
so sorry. Yeah, I recognize him. That's George Kittle's boy. That whole thing that Kittle does when he scores a touchdown is a gesture adopted from Penta's signature. What is Cero Miedo?
Oh yeah, I didn't know he did that.
That Kittle is inspired from that. Their friendship goes back to 2018. I knew. Yes, I recognize the name. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like to watch.
So what about the ladder match appeals to you as a casual? And do you think it's something that can appeal to families too, with like younger children, you know, mom and dad bringing them in, or is the violence of it too much, you think?
Well, I'm sure families get down with that, but for me,
mine
no.
does.
Now, what appeals to me is that old school violence that we all grew up watching in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, you know, jumping off the ladder and seeing blood. Seeing blood. If they still do that? WrestleMania?
It's not as prevalent, right? They don't really like to show it as much, but they do. So yeah, go ahead, continue.
Oh, I'm done.
Okay. No. And I'm glad because I wanted to ask you this too. So this is going to be a new question here that I wanted to ask both of you. Okay. Pat McAfee, the heat going back to that has been crazy, right? A lot of people don't like it. One of the things that's being said, Abe, you brought this up last year or 2 years ago with The Rock on this very show. And you said that the problem with what The Rock has been doing is that he's the only one that's allowed to do it. So if you're a WWE superstar and you go out and cut a promo and you throw the middle finger or you say the F word or you really use something to try to get it over, you'll be fined. There's a decent chance they'll take you off TV as a punishment. There are many, many things that we've seen in terms of punishment for people going that route. But Pat McAfee has come out. He's flipped the bird many times on camera. He's used foul language. And again, I'm not saying that I'm so, I'm offended. Not at all. The point is that no one else gets to do that. Abe, is it fair for celebrity wrestlers to come in at WrestleMania and be allowed to get over in ways that the regular roster isn't?
Yeah, nah, it isn't. And you know who expressed that? Damian Priest recently.
Oh, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Damian Priest expressed that. He said, that, it upset him that he's not able to do the things that Pat does. And he was like, yo, if I get in trouble for it, it is what it is. And I felt like he was genuine when he said that. But to be honest with you, I feel like the heat that he's getting from other wrestlers on these shows that are on major platforms is all part of the storyline. It's all connected. I'm not buying anything that is said on ESPN, on the Chris Van Vliet show, all these WWE affiliated platforms. I'm not buying it. You know what I mean? Like, you say something on some random channel, then maybe I might buy it. But outside of that, it's all storyline, bro.
Oh, and that makes me want to ask you a question. Shu, I just kind of brought up the narrative, and as an outsider, what are your thoughts? Because if I told you that, Randy Orton and, Penta and some of these names that Obafemi, that are young guys, aren't allowed to do the things that Pat McAfee's able to do and get away with, is that fair to you?
No, you could put that in the context of your 9-to-5 job, that some guy comes on and he's a contractor or something and he gets all these special privileges that the normal employees don't get.
Exactly.
Those normal employees would be pissed. We'd all be pissed talking about that guy. Hey, can I ask you a question, Abe?
Yeah, I was going to say, before you ask me, that's a perfect example of what you just said. That's to the T. That is a perfect example of what Mario was talking about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And it has to do with boxing, but you mentioned Mario, you're saying the storyline, or both of you were talking about the storyline about Pat McAfee. And for me, the big story in boxing right now is this Mayweather Pacquiao, whether or not, Mayweather fully understood that it was an exhibition or not an exhibition. And other boxing media outlets have said, well, you know what? Mayweather has a long history of playing games to sell fights and create chaos. And this is just another one of his tactics. He fully knows he's signed to fight a real fight. And this is just bluster. It's just selling the fight. I mean, what's your opinion on that? Is that similar to this? Is Mayweather, was he Was he just bluffing? He knew he was
Doing
going
the
to
work?
fight a real fight. Yeah. Is it all just to promote this event?
Yeah, I mean, Mayweather hasn't gotten to this point of his career not knowing what the fuck is going on. Like he knows exactly what's going on. Was it a play to try to get like more money out of it? Maybe. It could have been something where, you know, Netflix might have told him, hey, listen, you got to do something here because maybe the interest level isn't at the point where we would like it to be, you know, X number of months out or whatever the case may be. Could have been something like that. Now, I saw that Lance Pugmire put out there that Pacquiao said that they have a fight now, like it's done. So I guess all those, you know, questions or whether he did or he didn't, I guess they're done now. And, you know, he's in it. He's in it.
Yeah.
He's in it. And we'll see what happens. Just so you know, I just finished coming from LA. I was in the gym with Junto Nakatani. And
Shout out to you for the work,
ready.
bro.
He is ready.
Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot
He's
wait.
ready.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I cannot wait. What, did you put out anything yet?
No. I just got home like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, the fans are ready.
I
The
can't
fans
wait.
of
I can't
Japan
wait.
are ready too. I saw that their numbers, the tickets sold for that were rather extraordinary compared to what we're used to here
I'm so happy
stateside.
about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're over 50K tickets purchased. I think what people don't really understand is that, like, it's, and somebody mentioned this, and I agree with them. It's Otani and then Inoue, like in Japan. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's true.
That's the level,
that's gotta
right?
be true.
And Inoue is like more like pop culture than anything else, right? And so, like, every subway and bus station and all that has probably a poster of these two guys, you know, looking to fight, you know, on May 2nd or whatever. This is a super huge deal over there. They're doing it at Tokyo Dome. Think about it. New Japan really is the only ones that are allowed to do sporting events that big, you know, in the Tokyo Dome outside of, you know, concerts and stuff like that. And so, I mean, this is a big deal, and it's going to be such a big deal there. It might not be a big deal here, but over there, like, the whole country is going to be tuned into that fight.
Hell yeah, bro. You're so right. Hey, shout out to Bruce Gas in the chat. He said, isn't the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on Friday? It is.
Yes.
And he said, and the Hall of Fame? It is at midnight. So talking about AEW ending on
midnight, Eastern,
Sunday
right?
at midnight. Yeah. And
Eastern.
so it's like, dude, you got the Hall of Fame at midnight on Friday. Abe, let me ask you this, as Matt and Mex and a lot of guys have been talking about this in the chat. Should SmackDown move to Thursdays already? Is it a not a waste, but is it a problem to have SmackDown on a Friday and the Hall of Fame and all that? I mean, can't they spread it around a little more?
They should change SmackDown during WrestleMania week to Thursday. They should do that.
I agree.
The problem is, you know, trying to secure a slot on a Thursday night and with the networks, if they already have something that is regularly scheduled for that time on Thursday, that's the hard part. If it was,
damn, that's a good point.
Yeah, if they were just doing strictly streaming, like on Netflix and stuff, you can move that thing around. But when you start talking about network TV and things that, no kidding, have to happen on those times and dates, it's a little harder to move around. Now AEW does it, but I think because TBS and TNT may not have, you know, distinct programming that can't move or whatever, so they're able to kind of, you know, maneuver around there. And plus, you know, they're paying them a good amount of money, so, you know, they're going to want to put them at ideal places.
That's a great point. So I want to ask real quick, because y'all brought up the May Pack stuff, whether it's a work, right? And that was from Abe talking about how he doesn't believe anything that's being said right now, and he thinks it's all part of a wrestling narrative. I agree with that. And combining the two, right? There are things that work that we expect, and then things that don't, right? So if Floyd doesn't fight that fight, it's something's happened. Something's weird, right? Because this is part of, like you said, the whole spiel, his shtick. So when I look at this and them keep saying, well, the higher ups from TKO said you can't touch Pat McAfee, or the higher ups are saying this, or they are the ones that sent Pat, not us. all of that is pointing to a big reveal. All that has to be storyline if it's being used on TV. Abe, I'm going to ask you first. Does The Rock have to come out at WrestleMania Night 2 or bust? Similar to the position they were in last year.
So I think Meltzer put out there that he's not scheduled to be there.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, though, and this could be, again, part of driving sales, right? He hasn't really posted a lot in the last couple of weeks. But oh, by the way, this week he posted being on the treadmill and working out. Now, everybody knows that when he starts posting workout videos, you know, it's either getting ready for a role or he getting ready to come back, you know, and it's no coincidence. It's WrestleMania week. And then he puts out a video of him kind of working out. Like, that's either teasing that he's going to be back or teasing it to where people think that he's going to be back and purchase tickets because of it. And then that drives up, you know, last minute sales.
Well said. Okay, so Shoeshine, The Rock, the person that you have known, right, and known of for decades, he's a big star. He has done a lot of different types of stuff, kids stuff, adult more stuff, drama, action, right? I want to ask you, with everything that's happened in wrestling and his movie flopping last year, do you think The Rock still exists as a main star, like as a big star? Does he satisfy for you that big name like Hogan or Cena or anything still to this day right now in wrestling?
Yeah, I think he does. And it might be a problem with everything in Hollywood right now, though, regarding like has movie flopped and whatnot. I mean, they say there's an exodus of actual, you know, work in Hollywood and whatnot. So much of it has moved away from Los Angeles, the film industry. And to be honest, the movies just aren't as good. I hate to say it, but some of those movies that won the Oscars in recent years, they're just not as good as movies I remember growing up to in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I don't expect them to be as good, but every so now you do get a movie that you're like, wow, that's really an Oscar type movie there. So I got good faith in The Rock's Hollywood career still going forward, and I'm excited to see if he does show up on Sunday now. Now you got me interested.
Hell yeah. Listen, last question here for wrestling. Before I switch it over, I want to ask you first, Shoeshine, Vince McMahon, you know, even with being a casual, obviously you're familiar with, you know, the lawsuits that have come against him and some of the things that have been said. Stephanie McMahon is being inducted into the Hall of Fame this Friday. Okay. She's probably the main headliner, although I'd say AJ is. Do you think she mentions Vince McMahon's name, despite the fact that she's gone out of her way to not mention her dad's name? What do you think? And shout out to Alex.
I would give a guess that no, not in this political climate, man. People don't want to talk about or be attached to those types of issues. I would just guess no.
Abe, what do you think? Do we get a Vince McMahon mention? No, not at all.
No, because then the show would be about him. And she ain't gonna want that. Now, I'm gonna tell you what would be ill, though. What would be ill is if Shane O'Mac is in the crowd, purchase a ticket and just in the crowd, and people recognize that and start chanting his name while she's out there giving a speech.
Yo.
That would be ill.
That would be fire.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
He recently popped up. Where was he? He was in Yankee Stadium.
Oh, that's right.
At a Yankee game.
With the sun, right?
Yeah, he just popped up and all that. So I don't know, man. You know, if Shane is cooking something, or maybe they're cooking something with him. So you know, who knows?
Right? Hell yeah. So one last thing here on wrestling, not WrestleMania related. We have learned now the Hogan documentary is coming out on Netflix. Abe had a tweet about 2 weeks ago that was a very good tweet that I've yet to see anyone successfully argue against. And that is what's left to say about Hulk Hogan? What is there left to document, right? And now the big selling point for this documentary is that Hulk Hogan's final interview ever that's never been released is going to be on this documentary. Abe, we'll start with you. Just kind of going off of what you've already said about it, Hogan, there's nothing really to say about it. What would be some things that would interest you, and are you planning on watching right away?
Well, listen, I'm gonna watch because I'm just gonna watch, right?
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that I find interesting is that this is coming out on Netflix on April 22nd. I have a Netflix media account, and normally when they have upcoming titles, they'll put it up there, and then that's when you communicate regarding like getting a pre-screener, getting a screener and doing interviews and stuff. That one hasn't made it up there yet, which tells me that I think that they're going to wait like almost to the last minute so that people don't ask for a screener, and then just going to kind of put it out to everybody so that everybody sees it at the same time type of thing. Because if you were really standing by it, you would be like, okay, well, let's get it out to the media and let's get reviews out there and everything else. The fact that they haven't done that yet almost kind of tells me that there's not much new that's going to be on there. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe they just want to hold it in and keep it until, everybody can see it at the same time. I'm going to watch it. I mean, I don't know what else can be said about it, about him. Maybe like some backstage stuff but a lot of the backstage stuff has been said. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, maybe his wife or his ex-wife, I should say, or his kids, maybe they say something that's I don't see where there's going to be anything left. Honestly, I thought the TMZ one was the end of it. Like that was the last one. And then now this one comes up. They waited a year after he died because, he wasn't as popular and he had all that baggage with him. So they let that cool down a little bit, and now they're putting it out. I don't know if it's gonna hit like that.
Shoeshine, are you gonna watch the Hogan documentary?
Oh yeah,
excited about it?
I love all the sports documentaries on Netflix. I watch them all, even if it was a sport or something I wasn't engaged in. But I like sometimes when they put out the salacious stuff. I want to see if they talk about the sex stuff, the sex scandals. That maybe something I didn't know about it, or maybe you jar my memory about that. And other than that, I'm interested in how he overcame all those injuries physically and whatnot. And we had to deal with the adversity of constantly recuperating from a surgery and all that. I'm interested in scientifically how he dealt with that going into his final days.
Well said. First of all, great points y'all made. And Abe, you reminded me, the things that I'm most excited from what I've seen are other wrestlers, interpretations of those times. Like Cody talks about being in the building the night Hogan turned heel with the NWO and was revealed as the third man. Yeah, I can't wait to hear that. And you said it, Shoeshine. Netflix does such a good job with docs, dude. Like, I love chess. I don't follow it professionally much, right? But they have that new chess documentary. You better believe I watched it.
No, I gotta watch it.
Good. It was so good. But the last thing I want to mention real quick, Abe, I think you're so right about this, right? Because there's this new way that sports franchises are doing PR when they don't want the PR out, right? And what you said reminded me of a story that just came out on The Athletic this week about the Rangers, the professional baseball team, the Texas Rangers. They brought a statue that was at the the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. Okay. And Dallas-Fort Worth airport deemed it too controversial to have at their airport. So the Texas Rangers ended up bringing it in. And this statue is very controversial. It represents a Ranger who was law enforcement that, had a lot of racist and stuff, associated with him. But the Rangers got it. They brought it in. And the way that they announced it is they said a special unveiling is going to happen. But they did it on a day where all the beat reporters for the Rangers were in preseason in Arizona and Florida and all these other places. So the day they have it, they have the fewest reporters ever, people that don't even cover baseball, and management answered 0 questions. So this was a way of putting it out without putting it out, so that's a very, very good point. Listen, last final topic I want to get to with boxing. Okay. We have ESPN coming back this Friday, tomorrow, and they have a women's card set. MVP Promotions, obviously they got the deal with ESPN. ESPN hasn't been in the business of boxing since last year around July, I think it was. Abe, what is the significance of this move? What is the significance for Jake Paul? And do you think that women's boxing can become a viable product without staging men as they've been doing for the last couple of years? Can that continue?
Yeah, I mean, for ESPN, like, look, Jake Paul, this dude, like, people, whether you love him or hate him, one thing that he is a smart motherfucker, man. This guy, I'm sorry that I'm cursing, but he is.
No.
He's been gobbling up women's boxing inventory for the last like 12, 18 months, right? The whole point of that now, looking at it now, was to do this, to present it in a situation like, listen, I've got this right here. Let's do a deal because I have enough inventory here to do championship level fights for the next X number of years. And that's exactly what he did with ESPN. ESPN was like, yo, we're launching this women's sports day on Sundays. This fits that need because Jake Paul's smart, right? Like, he catered it to what that need was, right? The need was for live women's sports. Okay, well, I got that. I got all these women fighters, champions at that. Let's fill in that void. And then, they made it happen. So, not surprised that it did. I'm a little surprised that no one else, well, maybe they did bid for it, but ESPN is gonna probably outbid them, and if they really wanted it, and it looks like they did. So, shout out to Jake Paul. He did his thing. He got that. He created like a subdivision, right, or MVPW.
Yep.
So it's like MVPW, and then you got MVP for his other fighters and stuff, or a blend of them. What? So I mean, he's got to figure it out, man.
Hell yeah! Shout out to Fresh. Let me ask you, Shoeshine, what do you think about this upcoming card, and what do you think about Jake Paul's?
I would say it's both because I'm sorry, Shoeshine, if I may. I think it's a blend of both.
Me too.
Nikisa's a smart guy too, but don't count out Jake Paul. He didn't get here to this point overnight. Like, he's been building it from a young age, so he knows the mechanics behind it. Nikisa might be the business brains of it, but don't discount Jake Paul's part of it. I think together though, they make
a winning
MVP
combo.
is.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's like De La Hoya Schaefer kind of.
Yeah. But go ahead.
Shoeshine, go ahead.
I got a question though. Is this something that they're going to aim to do every Friday? Women's boxing every Friday?
No.
Sundays.
Okay.
Sundays. Yeah, that was my bet.
Yeah, Sundays. But it's just this Friday they're starting out because obviously Sunday is WrestleMania, so they can't,
Yeah.
So ESPN, I would assume, and this is where, look, Jake is going to get the double rub, right? Because they're putting the card on Friday on ESPN. You're going to have WrestleMania advertisement on that, right? And so it's everybody wins.
Everybody's winning. Yep, bro. So right. Shoeshine, how excited are you for this?
I don't know if it's Alicia Baumgartner, the return of Alicia Baumgartner. Man, I haven't seen Alicia knock out anybody since she suffered her own PED scandal.
Bingo.
It's like how excited was I to see Conor Benn this past weekend? I think it's great for the sport overall to see such high level elite women doing their thing and whatnot, but I'm not too sold on the card from what I was looking at the card. It makes me long for the old days of ESPN, but I think if I had to be perfectly honest, I think ProBox is doing a great job of taking over that Friday night fight vibe where you're going to get really tough contenders and prospects that are equally matched, and you don't know who's going to come out the winner. And that's why you're there to see, I don't think we'll ever get that back on Friday nights. I'm happy there's a Friday night fight this Friday. I'll watch it. I'm definitely going to watch it. I would like to see Alicia challenge herself more. If I'm correct, do you know Abe is who else is on that card?
Shadeja Green.
Oh, well,
okay. Shadeja.
One guy that I know that is on that card that I would definitely look out for is Jamal Harvey.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, he's a big amateur background. You know, a lot of the biggest names in the sport now on the younger champions have all like said this kid's got, you know, the tools to be that guy next. So I want to keep watching him, but he's on that card.
So could they theoretically they will have some of their male talent? Like I follow Lucas Body, been a friend of his for some years now. I'd love to see him on an ESPN card or get some more TV exposure. Is that something I could expect to see some of their male roster?
Yeah, I mean, I think only if it's like deep in the card. I think for the prime viewing, they're going to keep it, you know, all women. You know, and with Bumgarner, I feel like she hasn't been very impressive to me in the last like 2 fights. She has to have a fight where she looks like a star. I think they're hoping that this fight is that, because obviously the end road is Bumgarner versus Serrano at some point. But you can't make that into a mega fight if you're having performance where people are like, oh, okay, you know, nothing that stands out. If this performance stands out, I guarantee you the Serrano fight is happening at some point, you know, later in the year.
Oh, I would. Yeah. That'd be very anticipated. But what about? Sorry, guys.
No, go ahead.
Did Michaela Mayer also sign? I can't keep up. She did sign with them.
She?
Yeah.
That's a big deal because, as far as I remember, in the past 3 or 4 years, one of the biggest women's fight was Michaela Mayer and Alicia. And even though Michaela has moved up in weight, we see so many of these female champions move up and down depending on the biggest fight opportunity or the biggest fight day. I would like to see a stoppage win from Alicia, and I'd like to see people start talking about potentially Michaela and Alicia running it back on ESPN.
No, because Michaela is at a point where, you know, she's fighting at 154. I think she can make 147 she needs to. Bumgarner is not going to go higher than 135. You know what I mean? And so, like, yeah, I don't see that happening. I know that they're trying to hype up Michaela versus Clarissa Shields, which would probably be, I'd have to assume, like at 160, somewhere along that neighborhood. But Shields, you know, she's got, I guess, a deal with Zeus, or doesn't have a deal with Zeus Network, and so who knows what her obligations are, and that could conflict with whatever MVP's got going on, and so. But if they're, you know, if I'm ESPN, I would love an opportunity to have Michaela Mayer versus Clarissa Shields on my platform, you know, because you're talking about, you know, American Olympic medalists and all that. And, you know, they could really, you know, put the machine behind that. But I don't know. I don't know if they can pull it off. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a situation where they can pull it off or not. I will say this, right? And I made this argument earlier in the week. People talk a lot of shit about the WNBA, right? And they say a lot of things like, oh, they're supplemented by the NBA, so they should shut up and just take whatever they want. But those people don't understand sports, and they don't understand the business of sports, right? The reason you want the WNBA to not just survive but thrive is it expands the market for basketball, right? So right now, boxing is a very male-driven sport. I mean, there are, you know, plenty of women who like it, but not a lot, right? If you can expand the women's competition and make it something that is viable in and of itself, then it has a big impact on the sport overall, right? That's why golf is one of the biggest sports in the world, because men, women, old people, young people, boys, girls, they can all play, right? Soccer, same thing. So I see this as a thing that I want it to work. Do I love Jake Paul? No, you know, but do I appreciate that he has seen the value in women's boxing? Absolutely. Because I was on the Boxing Voice in 2014, arguing with Ness, arguing with people on that show, telling them, no, the women and the light men, they deserve our attention. They put action together. So while there isn't a big fight on this card, and I agree with Shoeshine, it's a little lacking, what they want is exactly what Abe said. They want big performances. They want big moments for all the young girls or girls in their 20s or whatever in this era where they are fighting for equality in every avenue. Here is a situation where, one of the more toxic guys in the world is on social media has provided them a stage to earn and to grow. And listen, no matter what you think about Jake, you have to at least respect the fact that he's trying to platform these people. And I'll say one more other thing, that Netflix show where they put women on the card and they made them the forefront. There weren't a lot of big matchups, but there were some exciting moments. Women provide something that men often don't provide at the highest weight levels, right? And we saw it with MMA. We saw it with Gina Carano and a lot of the other girls that it came before them in Strikeforce. And so I just think that all the women need is a platform. And Alicia Bumgarner has to show up. That's the other thing, right? Y'all are both right on that. But ultimately, this can be a really good thing. This can be a really, really good thing. Shout out to Alex. He said Alicia's ducking Caroline. Well, yeah, I mean, she lost. I would like to see that fight again. He said Clarissa Lauren Pricks. That's a decent fight too. I mean, Price, yeah. And so, I don't know if they make that fight, but 2026 WNBA did 2 million viewers on Tuesday. Shout out to Gabriela Juarez. Shout out to you, Alex, for that stat. And that's what I'm saying, right? Like, let's give it a year of this and let's see what those numbers look like. Let's see what the interest in women's boxing looks like.
I'm out here in Vegas, man, and the women's NBA has been incredibly successful here. They already brought home a championship. Shout out to the Aces. AJ Wilson signed a 3-year, $5 million contract today. That's trending in the news. But it was a perfect testing ground for the NBA to see, does the city of Las Vegas want to, and can they support an actual NBA team? And by, bringing a championship, and already their ticket sales are fantastic. This women's NBA team has been a boom here for the city of Las Vegas. I can only imagine how good it's going to be when we actually do get an expansion team here.
Okay. So this is the fight. Oh, my bad. Abe, did you want to comment?
No, I was just going to say, in the end, what matters is that, they perform. Paul is putting them on the platform. They have the opportunity to perform. Now it's up to them to deliver. For those that deliver, they'll continue to see more success. For those that don't, maybe not so much.
Okay, so now my final topic for the day is this one, and I'm so glad Abe came on, because Abe has been running with this story since Saturday. He has been one of the, I think, true North voices in boxing that has not allowed bias to shift his belief on what we saw on Saturday. Now I'm going to bring this full circle. I'm going to try to, but I'm going to do it really quick. Abe, I want your take first. We watched the Tyson Fury, shout out to Shoeshine and Vince. We did that live, and Shoeshine, they all had a lot of great stuff, but the media reaction was that AJ ducked. Okay, the media reaction is that AJ didn't get off his stool. That means he doesn't want the smoke. That means that he is a ducker, and he has been labeled with that, while Tyson Fury and Turkey have been labeled as the guys that want to make the fight. Abe, what are your thoughts on that narrative, and what did you see on Saturday in the post-fight situation?
Yeah. So honestly, like, before I tell you what I saw, I'm going to say that it felt like Turkey was trying to force a decision out of Joshua, and he wasn't having it at the moment. And you got to respect that. I knew things were going to turn left the moment Turkey said, "Hey, Eddie, come up here and stand next to me and Frank." When he smiled at him and didn't move, I said, "Oh, this is going left right away." Because one, Eddie took a bold stance and put himself in a position of power, right? He said, "No, I'm standing right here," in his mind, right? Because he has all the leverage. He's got AJ behind him. He doesn't need to dance to nobody's tune, because guess what? The fight doesn't happen if AJ is not wanting to fight. So as soon as that happened, I said, "Oh, this isn't gonna end well." So then once Turkey saw that Eddie wasn't moving, he pivoted and had, you know, kind of like signaled to Tyson to try to engage Joshua. Hearn looked at Joshua. Joshua sat his ass back down. And then he just, you know, with the landlord stuff and all that was a power play, a negotiation power play. Now, where Netflix fucked up was that they put a social media post saying, Fury Joshua happening this fall on Netflix. Is it really? Because Joshua just said that he hasn't signed anything. And then 10 minutes later, when he was doing a interview with one of the sideline reporters, he was like, yo, I'm still trying to get over the accident stuff. You know, I'm not even sure what's happening. Will me and Fury get into it? Yeah. But he was like, we've been down this road before. And this is where I respect them, because they have. Plenty of times, Josh was like, yo, I'm ready. They was like, yeah, agreement in place. And then one thing led to another, and it didn't happen. When it came down to signing the papers, it didn't happen. So Josh was like, yo, we've been here before. Why am I going to feed into that? Why am I going to say, yeah, let's do it, and then there's nothing signed? Like, why do that? If it's signed, cool. We do that all day. But nothing was signed, according to Joshua, of course. And I have to believe that him taking that stance means that there wasn't nothing signed. The other thing to that is Eddie Hearn still got that rivalry with Frank Warren. Don't sleep on that. Yeah, they've been kind of, you know, playing cool with the turkey stuff, but no way Eddie Hearn was going to get into the ring on a Frank Warren show to give him the rub for this Fury Joshua thing. That was not going to happen. Yes, that did happen, that comment there. But Eddie Hearn wasn't about to do that. He was not about to do that. So a lot of ego, a lot of power play stuff all happen in those moments. Will the fight happen? Oh, I guess. You know, Hearn is now saying that Joshua's fighting in July against somebody, and then maybe doing the Fury in November. I don't know. If Joshua fights Wilder, what if he gets knocked out? Then you have no fight. So, excuse me, it was just a lot of power play stuff on Saturday.
Well said, dude. Such a great response. Shushan, I know a lot of what you had said. Some days have passed now. How do you feel about what took place in the post-fight of Fury's fight?
I still stand by what I said Saturday, post-fight reaction, that, you know, I can understand Anthony Joshua's frustration with this long process of them negotiating this fight for, it's been almost 10 years back and forth. And now Tyson Fury's ready. Now he's ready, right? But Anthony Joshua is just as much the A side in this negotiation as Tyson Fury. And personally, you know, we've seen the long history that Anthony Joshua's had in some of his losses, where he's been very open about mental health issues that he's struggled with, seeking out sports psychologists to help him with that. And you can't get worse of a situation than losing two personal friends that were actually members of your team that helped you prepare for fights. So I wouldn't want to go personally into one of the biggest fights of your career, one of the biggest UK fights possible, the biggest UK fight possible of the moment, where you're not 100% capable of even going through a camp, you know, finishing a camp, being in the right frame of mind. So I don't see any problem with him taking a tune-up fight. And I hope that these two gentlemen will come to an agreement in the near future to actually do have the fight. But it doesn't have to be next. It doesn't have to be the next fight. Anthony Joshua has just as much say, in my opinion. And to what Vince just put, yeah, I wanted to have Vince talk about that, but I guess maybe he found out. Vince. Boxing Scene broke that story today that his nephew's Amato, which we talked about earlier when he fought Dean the Great, but Amato and Fernando Jr. have signed to BKB. Whoa, that's really interesting. Really
very interesting. I actually want to talk about that real quick, but I just want to tell y'all, y'all have great points that y'all made. It made me think of just a couple things. First of all, Abe, you said Fury, we've been here before. You're right. Fury's the one who put two ultimatums on Anthony Joshua when things were supposedly very close. You know, he called for a 48-hour ultimatum, right? Where millions upon millions of dollars are on the line. that to me sounds more like a duck than not getting in the ring to shake hands on a fight that doesn't exist. The last thing is main character syndrome is a real thing, right? At this point, I cannot see how Turkey hasn't realized that these guys are superstars and they feel like they should be treated like that. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's the deal. When you are dealing with the top NFL guy, top MLB guy, top tennis player, top boxer, it doesn't matter, you know? And so to make AJ try to be a supporting character in Fury's main story, that was always never going to work. But listen, those were great.
And not only that, but listen, he's got season 2 of At Home with the Furies that comes out.
Shit.
Thursday, right? I put a review out. I watched it already. I put a review out on FightCTW.com. It was entertaining. But they're coming out with a season 3 already. Netflix has investment in Fury. So Joshua knowing that, I think now he's expecting Netflix to be like, yo, listen, whatever you want, just put the number on there and that's what we'll do. But we got to make this happen. And that's being in the position of power. It's a risk. But Joshua knows where he stands. And by him doing that, he probably just added another 20 mil to his check.
Bro, you're so right. So right. Well said. I'm going to clip the shit out of that. Look, the breaking news, I just want to talk about it real quick. Y'all's immediate reactions. I am going to say I'm not liking this. I am huge fans of Fernando Amado. I've interviewed both of them many times as well with their father. And I just don't think that this is a worthwhile risk. I think ultimately bare knuckle boxing is more luck than it is skill. I've seen it enough to know that it is impossible to utilize some of the best guards and defenses and don't have a shield. There is no shield to protect you from. So essentially these are who can get at the other guy first. I think both Vargas brothers are good enough to have to avoid this. Shoeshine, what do you think? Is this a mistake? Do you like it? Do you think it could give them more popularity in the manosphere of social media youngsters?
Is BKB that popular? I saw the statement from BKB where they think it's going to be a tremendous boom to them because of the brothers, you know, social media presence and their popularity with the former reality TV show. And I think it is going to be a big win for BKB. But after seeing, you know, Paulie Malignaggi's going back to his to fight back and seeing the damage that he's taken to his face by somebody who probably couldn't even compete in the top 15 of actual boxing. That guy who busted up Paulie's face is not a guy I would say could lace him up and compete in the top 15 of any sanctioning body. I just, you know, I was scratching my head. I read that statement. I'm like, surely did Dana White make an honest attempt to bring them on the Zuffa? Like,
great Dana, question. You
should have snatched them up, man. I don't know what kind of offer they got, but they could have stayed in boxing. And obviously, you know, the Zuffa belt is going to mean something to some people. We talked to Floyd Diaz, formerly Floyd Cashflow Diaz, and he talked to us and told us that the Zuffa belt would mean a lot to him to become the first world champion, bantamweight champion. So for some fighters, it's going to be significant. I'm just scratching my head. Damn, Dana, you could have snatched them up. Who knew they were on the open market like that?
Didn't even think of that. Abe, what do you think? Shout out to Rojas Raymond in the chat.
Yeah, I think that with BKB probably paid them more than what Zuffa was willing to pay them.
Really? Wow.
I would have to believe that. BKB is like somebody mentioned, I think Alex mentioned, their second biggest promotion next to BKFC, and I believe that. They're trying to do a lot of different things. I know some of those guys over there. And I think that what they're going after is more of like a social media push.
Yes.
And Fernando and Amado have that, right? Like they have a social media presence. So I think that they might have, you know, paid them a little more to be able to attract that attention to their brand. Is it good for them? I don't know. Like Amado, I don't know. It always seemed like he wasn't like 100% into boxing.
Agree.
It always felt like he had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He did some misfit stuff, I think.
Dean the Great. Yep, he fought Dean.
Yeah.
Dean the Great.
Like it just never seemed like he was gonna have like a full-blown pro career in that. Junior, I felt like he was committed to a certain point, but then I don't know, like he just stopped fighting, right? He was doing a lot of shows with Marv Nation, and he was staying busy. He was staying busy with them, but then I don't know, it just kind of it just stopped all of a sudden. And so, you know, maybe this is they look at this as an opportunity. Maybe it's a short-term deal. You know,
to
they look at
their brand. Yeah,
they look at it as an opportunity. Go check it out. See if this is what they want to do. You know, get paid probably more than what they would have gotten paid at a club show, and then kind of go from there. You know, they do have value. And maybe they can go and take them overseas because they do a lot of overseas shows. And, you know, they could bring that value to the overseas show, fight somebody over there, get it popping over there, and build themselves up even more.
Yeah, good point. And I think that there and you know, Shoeshine understands this at a very high level, you know, living in Vegas and being around for the entire transformation of online streaming. There is a demographic of casuals that are not boxing fans or MMA fans. They're just fans of online clout and online beef, right? And that demographic is huge, right? Because they're all casuals. They don't watch shit. But they're not necessarily appreciative of like the talent, the standpoint, right? So there's like guys like Armand and UFC, you know, are popular guys, but boxing never has really had a pipeline to it, right? It's a very gentleman type sport. And so I just feel like I don't think it's a great move from their professional boxing career. I do think that it is a very, very fast way of encumbering some of that social media power and adding it to their brand brings them up faster than normal, right? And remember, this past January, right, Fernando and Xander Zayas were utilized in Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance. And after that, Emiliano. I'm sorry, it was Emiliano. You're right, it was. But after that, this idea of Emiliano and you know, Zayas and this fight, like I felt like that kind of boxing talk was going to help the rest of the brothers, right? Help the whole brand of the Vargas clan. But man, when you're in your late 20s and the career's starting to go, yeah, I think you start to ask yourself, what are the biggest financial rewards at this point? But ultimately, I am happy that they're going to get paid. Of course, I'm going to watch it. I love both the guys, fans of Fernando since I was a kid, their dad. So yeah, I'm going to watch it. But yeah, I just hope that they don't get like crazy or like anything that would stall their career, because that's really the biggest risk for those fights, right? You don't have to be good to cut somebody on the cheek with a wrapped hand. You know what I mean? Like that kind of friction will cause a cut very easily. And sometimes those cuts never really heal well. You can look at guys like Vargas or Marquez's brother or Vasquez, who he fought 4 or 5 times. These guys develop the kind of cuts that become problematic for the rest of their career. The scar tissue never really heals properly, and they're always like a jab away from, you know, a huge cut that interferes with the fight. But listen, guys, I want to thank you all so much.
I was gonna
go ahead. I was
gonna add one more thing. So honestly though, for both of those brothers, I think that there's a career for them in the corner to be trainers. Like I could really see that happening because they have a little bit of a knack for that. And I think that if they start that early enough, you know, that can be another Garcia team again, like Robert and, you know, and his brother and his son and I mean and his father and all that. That could be another phase for them like that. So I could see both of them, you know, going down the trainer route.
Well said. Shoeshine, any last comments on that?
Yeah, I just forgot that last week. El Perro Angulo, who I was very fond of in his peak of his career, he fought Canelo Alvarez. You know, he had a great fight with Arizona Lara. That he also signed with BKB, and now I'm just starting to wonder. You know, if BKB wants to make headwinds with the Mexican American and Mexican community, I want to see El Perro on the same card as the brothers debut. Why not on a big holiday?
Yeah, so they're putting Angulo on a card in July in Los Angeles. So
Perfect.
to me, that tells me that the Vargas brothers will likely be on that card.
Oh, that'd be very exciting.
That's a big card. That's a good LA card. That's going to attract for sure.
Summertime.
Hell yeah. Listen, it's WrestleMania week. I appreciate y'all coming in. Abe, you want to give out your socials real quick?
Yeah, man. At AbeG718 on X, Instagram, fighttw.com is the website. At AbeG Boxing is the YouTube page. I appreciate it as always. It was good chatting with you both today. And yeah, man, let's see what happens this weekend with both things, with boxing and wrestling.
Remember, I'm covering for FightsATW.com both nights. And Abe, I got your email in about 15 minutes.
Yeah. All right, man. All right, y'all. Peace.
Thanks,
Peace out, guys. Later.
Shoeshine, real quick before you go, okay? You said something that was very interesting about this about the Vargas stuff. Do you think that there is a chance that we start to see some guys like Dean the Great and some of the other guys that have been using the fight game and start venturing into like the BKB stuff? It sounds like when you said what you said, it made me realize that there is a commodity there and there is a value, but is it the kind of value that you can take back with you? Like, or does it only build you up in the boxing, in the bare knuckle realm?
Wasn't there a guy named Bryce that tried that, went from influencer to bare knuckle?
Yep.
Yeah, no, I definitely see a certain type of influencer wanting to go that route if they've already set the stage for it. Although, you know, to be brutally honest, it's much safer to wrap up your hands in real gloves. And we've seen how successful and popular other influencers, rappers, you know, celebrities have been with the Aiden Ross route, you know?
Yes. And and man, you understand exactly what I say when I say it. And I love that because you have the same sort of experience right throughout this. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. It's like these things like bare knuckle and slap fighting and even Aiden Ross's brand risk have provided alternatives for casual fans that they seem to prefer because they don't have to understand high level boxing. They don't have to, you know, feel like idiots in front of other people when they're saying the wrong thing. Right. I've been around that so much of my life that I know that men will sometimes feel emasculated in front of other men when they don't know something about sports or don't know, you know what I mean? So it's like seeing people flock to that. It almost feels like, it's,
I mean, do you remember when they had that white collar boxing? When
yes.
They would take, is that wildly popular that was? Like, it's basically the same thing. You, like you said, you don't need to know too much about boxing to want to see Blueface engage in a fight, you know, to see Blueface or somebody, you know. But I think it merits a whole show upon itself for us to tackle the issue about the fact that maybe the belts just don't matter as much to a new generation of athletes that say, hey, I can fight. I may not get the most highest reward going the route of, you know, wanting to go through the professional boxing ranks, go through the IBF, WBC, WBA, when I could just get some really good money over here doing, you know, one of these, maybe one or two fights with this different entity, you know. It's at the end of the day, to some people, the titles, the classic route of boxing titles and all world championships may not matter.
Doesn't mean anything to them, it seems like sometimes.
It may not matter as much. You know?
Dude,
and we should do a whole show about that.
That's what I was gonna say, dude. This is such a good topic, and there's so much there, right? You mentioned Rampage's son, the brand risk stuff, Blueface. Blueface made millions in that fight. Millions. And you got to ask yourself, if you're, you know, a junior or an amado, you know, hey, I'm way better than these guys. I've been doing this way longer than these guys. I need some of those mills myself. You know what I mean? Shout out to SP. So yeah, no, I think that's incredible. Are you going to be around on Saturday or Sunday or no?
Probably Saturday for sure. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, I was gonna ask you if you want to tap in for us with the watch along. I would just love to have somebody who doesn't watch the product tell me what they think. You know what I mean? Like, I would just love to, even if it's just for like the opening ESPN matches.
Yeah.
Like, that would be awesome.
I'll come by.
So,
I'll come by for that. I definitely want to see that the influencers go at it and Logan Paul.
Hell yeah. And night 2 is the Obafemi Lesnar. So, I'd love for you to watch that one too. So hell yeah. I'll hit you up in the chat.
Man, I appreciate it.
You. Hell yeah.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Man. Peace out. That was Shoe Shine. Listen, we're going to get out of here. Everybody that was watching from my channel, please go over to Shoe Shines and sub there at Shoe Shine Boxing. Just one of my favorite content creators over the last decade. Despite his humility, he is an extremely hard worker. And so he deserves to have that sub. He deserves to have that follow. You don't have to take my opinion for it. You can just go and watch his content and see how well he is at covering the sport. So I want to thank everybody who tapped in. Shout out to Rojas Raymond. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to 702. Appreciate the breaking announcement. Shout out to Alex too, man. For real. This dude's always giving us, the fucking information when it comes out. I mean, he told us about the WNBA draft doing 2 million views and, just a lot of really, and he also mentioned Tommy Fury could be possibly fighting Chase Demore after he fights Eddie Hall. For those that don't know, Tommy Fury, the brother, or is he his half brother? He's either brother or half brother of Tyson Fury, is going to fight Eddie Hall, who is the former world's strongest man. Is a guy who I've been following since like 2016, or no, even before that. They did the doc, I think, in 2016 or 17 on Netflix, and that made me a huge fan. But he does like the strongman competitions. He started boxing a few years ago, I think during the pandemic, and he boxed the Mountain. If you remember that guy from Game of Thrones, the really tall, huge guy. He's also a powerlifter / world's strongest man. And so they boxed. Eddie Hall's also boxed like 2 dudes at once, if I remember correctly, in an MMA fight, I think. But yeah, they're about to fight, Eddie Hall and Tommy Fury. The press conferences have been a little weird. I know they staged whatever they did the other day, but I don't know. It's just weird to see one of the guys picking up the other guy. It's like, y'all are boxing, dude. But anyway, very interesting, because Chase Demore is the guy that beat the internet's Top G. If you don't know who the Top G is, consider yourself lucky. But he beat Andrew Tate, the famous man, what is it called? Manosphere, guy. I don't know. What do I call him? I don't know what to call him. But he's widely influential on the internet, and he personifies this like, oh, I'm a badass type of shit, right? But ultimately, he lost to Chase Demore. It was hilarious, and Chase Demore has been riding that wave, so it looks like he might get a shot at Tommy Fury. That would be interesting enough for me to watch, right? Not saying I'd pay for it, but it'd be interesting enough to watch. But anyway, I want to thank everybody who tapped in. Remember, today's Wednesday, Rewatch Wednesday. We're going to be live on Twitch at 9 p.m. Central Time. Yeah, Central Time. And we're going to be, just gaming a little bit. I got some people coming through to talk and chop it up. But yeah, I think we're going to do some WWE 2K and some Undisputed. Maybe the old UFC game. Who knows? We're just going to be doing a bunch of different stuff. And then tomorrow, Thursday, remember, is IRL Thursday. We're going to be going to the gym. What else am I going to be doing? Oh, I have something else planned on Thursday night too for an IRL stream. So make sure you're signed, or make sure you're subbed on Twitch. Yeah. And then we'll be back tomorrow, probably like 2:00 ish. And then Friday we'll be live for SmackDown. I'm not covering it for fightsatw.com, despite the fact that there is the Battle Royal and stuff like that. It's just, Saturday and Sunday are the main shows. So we'll be live for those. I'll be covering for fightsatw.com. So everybody, please go to fightsaroundtheworld.com, fightsatw.com, bookmark it, make it your one-stop shop for all things combat sports, wrestling, boxing, MMA, all of that. So shout out to everybody in the chat today. Shout out to everybody that was watching on IG. Santiago Media was there. Shout out to him. I don't know if he's still there. And then Zorro del Vega. Oh, I think that's Vega. Shout out to Vega. I didn't know he was there. Appreciate y'all tapped in. But yeah, we'll be back later tonight. For those that aren't going to be on Twitch, we'll be back tomorrow on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, X, IG, and that's it. So until tomorrow or until tonight, peace.